All parties in the matter of Amperan versus Lyle. Step forward, please.
Dental assistant Olivia Amperan is suing her former live-in boyfriend, business owner Alan Lyle, for the return of a barbecue pit and a chair and ottoman set. Olivia also claims Alan assaulted her 9-year-old son.
Miss Amperan, how long did you and the defendant live together?
15 months.
And he moved into your house?
Yes.
And you have children?
Yes, I do have 2.
How old are they?
12 and 9.
Was Mr. Lyle a reasonable companion with regard to the children?
No.
Okay. According to your complaint, there was an incident in September?
That's correct.
Involving one of your children. Was that the 12-year-old or the 9-year-old?
The 9-year-old.
Where you claim that Mr. Lyle hit him?
That's correct.
And you called the police and had him removed from the house. What day was that?
It was the 7th.
And then it is your claim that he came back into the house and he took some of your property. He took a barbecue pit, a chair, and a lamp. And you say that you purchased all these things, you paid for these things. Mr. Lyle says he only took what was his. And you also want some sort of damage because you say that he hit your 9-year-old son, slapped him.
That's correct.
So tell me what happened on September 7th.
It was in the evening. We had come home, myself and my 2 children. We drove up. The door to the front of the house was open. Everything was open. So we proceeded into the house, myself and my children, and I told them because of the situation that we were in, living with Alan Lyle, that just to go into your rooms, don't answer to him, just do what I ask you to do to avoid any confrontation. So they did so. As I proceeded into my bedroom, he was there with a duffel bag. I simply asked him a question as to where are you packing, where are you going? And he started telling me I have no right to ask him where he's going, whether he's coming for me to get the effing with my children, go over there, go sleep with your children, go sleep with your gay son. He's a mama's boy. He'll never amount to anything, and he just kept on with those things. So I went ahead and went out from the room to my son's bedroom, and I comforted him because he did hear these things. Alan then went outside to the garage, and I didn't tell you this before, but when I came home that night, he was under the influence of alcohol and marijuana, and I went outside. We began to argue. He turned around and said for me to get the hell back in the house, go to sleep, and he proceeded again to tell me that if you don't get back into the house, I'm going to go and tell your son how you brought him into the world with your legs spread open.
Nasty things.
Yes, nasty things. And he went into my son's bedroom and turned around and got him up against the bedroom corner and smacked him across the face 3 times. I told him for him to stop or I was going to call the cops.
Why did he do that?
He was angry with just the whole situation of how we were living.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Amperan says ex-boyfriend Alan Lyle owes for the return of a barbecue pit and a chair and ottoman set.
So you called the police?
Right, and I do want to say that when he was outside, I was very, very angry, and I know as a mother I shouldn't have told my son to curse at him, but my son did curse at him, and he didn't want to, and so I believe either that made him angry, also with everything else, so he came into the house.
There had to be a reason, otherwise there would not be logic to it if he just walked inside and slapped him in the face. So he slapped him in the face because he cursed at you.
Right.
Is that what happened? Is that what happened?
Yes.
No. Now, tell me about the property. Let's start with the chair and the ottoman.
Right. He was given 1 day to come back.
Who purchased the chair and the ottoman?
I did, and I have receipts.
May I see it, please? I'll hear you.
We both went together to Wix and purchased it. Her grandmother co-signed for her to get a Wix card. She picked out the couches. We went throughout the whole store. I sat in every chair. I'm a big guy. I took a picture of the chair. I
just want to know who paid for it.
It was purchased on her credit card, but after the fact that we went home, we moved into our place on May 1st. So we purchased our furniture in May.
Right.
Throughout the months, I had given her $100, $200 here and there, just for the chair. Everything else was on her account the couches and stuff, because it was agreed that if I was to ever leave, that I would be taking the chair and the lamp.
How did you deal with your finances when you lived together?
She was working, I was working.
How did you take care of the rent?
She paid half, I paid half. I gave her half of the money, and then she would write the check for it in full because she had the checking account.
How much did you give her?
I gave her $750 in rent, and then the agreement was to pay half of the utilities, but I ended up paying all of them.
Did he give you $750 for rent?
Yes, he did.
Who paid for the food?
Both of us.
Is that right?
No, Your Honor, he wasn't working. When we moved into this house together, he was not working. I put down the down payment, and I put the first and last month.
When you moved into this apartment, sir, where were you working?
When we first moved in, I was doing freelance jobs, getting hired here and there to do subcontracting work.
How many months was it before you got a full-time job?
3.5 months, middle of September.
I say November.
So, May, June, July, August, so for 5 months you weren't working. Is that what you're telling me?
4.5 months, yes.
Did you ever make up your half of the rent for those 4.5 months?
Not fully.
No. Is not an answer.
No, not fully the $750, no.
Why not?
Well, because on top of that, I was taking care of her 2 kids, making sure they were maintained in school, doing their schoolwork. So childcare, basically.
Mr. Lyle, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. You give her back the ottoman and the chair. She bought it. She paid for it in May of 2003. You sitting in it doesn't make it yours, sir. Now, let's get to the barbecue. Who purchased the barbecue?
I did.
When?
In June. I was going to have a 4th of July barbecue. We didn't have a barbecue pit. I went out to Home Depot.
Let me see it.
Down at the bottom.
June 27th. Yes, sir, I'm hearing about the barbecue pit. Go.
She said that she purchased, that she went there by herself and bought it. That's incorrect.
No, she didn't say she went there by herself, sir.
Yes, she did.
It doesn't make any difference whether she went there with the whole Coxie army, sir, or whether she went there with Ringling Brothers.
That was a Father's Day gift to me.
You're not a father.
Yes, I am.
Oh, you're an idiot. Listen, I can't deal. The truth of the matter is, I really can't deal with
Just
it. I'm
because
going to tell you something.
I'm
I'm going to tell you something else.
I am a father.
I want to tell you something else, sir. I don't even trust you to return these items to her in good condition, because I think that you are a less than honorable human being. That's my sense of you, and I've only met you for a relatively short time.
Exactly.
But those people who know me know that I'm a pretty good judge of character. You took these things that didn't belong to you. You sat in the chair, doesn't make it your chair. Because you grilled a hamburger, doesn't make it your barbecue. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,400. That's all. Out!
Thank you very much.
How does that excuse you? May step out.
She has 2 kids with separate and different fathers, and they couldn't stand her either.
I mean, that's how he is, obnoxious.
She's violent. She has a temper. She likes to put her hands on men.
He's the one who has the police report on him stating that he hit my son, so he's the violent one.
I'm done and over. It's over and done with.
This is case number 226 on the calendar in the matter of Durant versus Lockhart. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Valerie, how old are you, dear?
16.
And the lady standing next to you is your stepmother?
Yes.
And Miss Lockhart is your grandmother?
Yeah.
And you are her?
Mother.
All right, let's see where the story starts. I gather that you were living with your mother at some point. Then you and your mother had some sort of a falling out and you went to live with your grandmother.
No, Your Honor. I was living with my dad and my stepmother. In 2003 is when I moved in with my grandmother.
Is that because you had a falling out with either your father or your stepmother?
It was because I was having trouble in school. And
Whatever. You were having difficulty.
yeah.
So you went to live with your grandma. And while you were living with your grandmother, according to your complaint, your mother was sending some money to put away for a class ring.
Yes.
And then when you left your grandma's house in May of 2004, the grandma kept the money.
Yes.
So you're suing her for the money that your mother had sent for you for your class ring.
Yes. Some of that money was also from my dad. It was my birthday money.
Your grandma says that she did get the money. Your mother told her to keep the money to cover some other expenses that she had. So I have a few questions. How long has Valerie lived with you but for the time she was with her grandmother?
2 years approximately.
And how long have you been married to her father?
Approximately 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
Step up. Your last name is?
Mine is Keel.
Miss Keel, did you send your daughter money?
Yes, I did.
And when you sent her the money, did you send it directly to her?
No, I did not.
Who did you send it to?
I sent it to my mother to be held for a ring.
You sent your mother the letter, and in the letter there was cash or a check?
There was cash.
And the cash was given directly to your mother?
Yes, always.
Is that right?
Yes.
So the money never came to you?
No, but it was meant for my class ring. They both knew that.
Valerie, this is the situation. If your mother sent the money to you, and you in turn said to your grandmother, I want you to hold this for me, then she's just acting like a piggy bank. Do you understand?
The $200 that my dad and my stepmom Teresa had given to me, I went up to Iowa and they had given me $200, and that was given straight to me. And
Okay.
then I gave it to her.
Fine. So then let's not talk about the money that your mother sent to your grandmother. Let's talk about the money that your father and your stepmother gave to you. How much money did Valerie personally hand you and say, Grandma, will you hold this for me for my class ring?
She gave me money, and I don't know exactly how much, to hold for me so we could start her a savings account.
So you don't remember how much that was?
I do know one amount. When her dad brought her back to my house, she spent the week of her birthday in Iowa, and so whatever they gave her up there, I'm not sure. The only money that I know that was given her, because I was standing there at the time, is when her dad brought her home. The stepmother stayed in the vehicle. He came in with Valerie, and in Valerie's bedroom, he said, Valerie, here is $100. Do not tell Teresa. And we were going to start a savings account with all the money that she had received for her birthday.
And how much was that?
I know the $100 there. Her grandmother from Iowa had given her like I think $20, which I guess Valerie thinks that I took the money out of the mailbox, but she was in Iowa the whole week.
How much money did your father give you?
My father and my stepmom gave me $200, and that $200 was given to me in Iowa.
Okay. And how much did you give your grandmother to hold for you?
I gave her $200. She knew that it was for class ring.
It really doesn't make any difference what it's for.
Okay.
You say class ring, she says savings account. It doesn't make any difference. Did you put that money away for her?
No, she took it back.
When
did she spent it?
When did she take it back?
It was probably 2 weeks, and it was not all at once. She kept saying things that she wanted. Then her boyfriend's birthday came up. So she, I gave her money a little bit at a time out of this money that I was holding just in my purse for her to start a savings account. I wanted her to start a savings account.
Well, what did she say to you, for instance, when it was her boyfriend's birthday?
She wanted to get him a gift.
So what did she say to you?
She said, Grandma, I need money out of the envelope.
So she knew that the envelope in your purse was the money that she had given you.
For savings account.
Okay.
Which we never started.
Did you say to your grandma, when you needed a present for your boyfriend, I need money from the envelope?
Yes, Your Honor. We had 2 envelopes. One was marked class ring, and one was marked savings account. She had told me that we wasn't going to start a savings account. So I did take money out of the savings account. There was 2 envelopes. I did take the money out of the savings account one.
We're not talking about class ring, my dear. Listen to me very carefully. I want you to clearly understand. The money that your mother sent directly to your grandmother is not yours. Got it?
Yeah.
The money that your father and stepmother gave you as a gift for your birthday was yours. Your grandmother says that you wanted things, money for presents for your boyfriend for his birthday, money for things that you saw that you wanted, and over the course of time, you went into, not you personally, but you said, Grandma, I want the money from that envelope. And you acknowledge that that's true. Now, how much did you take out for things that you wanted?
You don't understand. There was 2 envelopes. One was for the class ring, one was for the savings account. There was $400 in the class ring one. $200 of that my dad had given me and my stepmom Teresa. There was another envelope because I just had my birthday, and I had got money from other family members and other friends.
How much?
I'm not exactly sure how much was in that one. I couldn't even give a guess for that money. But yes, I did take that money back.
I assume you had difficulty with your father?
Yes.
You're still having difficulty with your father?
No.
Do you live with your father?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Where is he?
He works. Constantly. He works from the time daybreaks come till the time nighttime comes. That's why I have guardianship of Valerie, and I'm raising her. Nobody has time for her.
You mean you individually without her father, and you share a home with her father?
He works all the time.
I don't care if he works all the time. That's what fathers sometimes do. They work all the time. So I don't understand why you would have guardianship of her.
Because I'm the one that takes care of her, takes her back and forth to school, takes her to counseling. She sees a psychologist.
She's the only one out of my parents that would take care of me.
Something that is very peculiar to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. 16-year-old Valerie Durant says her grandmother, Jan Lockhart, won't return money she gave her to hold.
Now, what did you... Go ahead.
Can I just please say something? I had Valerie for a year and a half. I went up there Christmas to get her. She had been kicked out of the home by her father and her stepmother.
I assumed.
She walked up a highway carrying bags when she was 14 years old.
I assumed.
I have a statement from the counselor that I took her to that plainly states the very things that Valerie said herself about her relationship with her father and them kicking her out. I have that.
I assumed that she
and I
came
went
to
up
live
there
with you
with
for that reason.
The best of intentions. She wasn't going to school. She was allowed to smoke on the conditions she smoked in the den by the fireplace. She was given wine coolers. Now, this is what I'm told by Valerie.
Okay. Why did she leave your house?
She left my home because it started with her boyfriend. I went to her room, and the reason I have this class ring receipt is because it was in her room, in her hope chest, which I have a letter from Valerie stating that, also stating that she doesn't know how much money there was. I mean, it's just, this is where I paid the $50 down on the class ring. I did have $125 from her mother for the class ring, but the money that Valerie got for her birthday was in Iowa, except the $100 she received from her dad in her bedroom when I was standing right there.
And it's your statement that she spent it.
And it is gone.
Okay. Why did you leave your grandmother's house?
Because me and my boyfriend, we had some trouble. And
what do you mean you and your boyfriend, you had some trouble?
We had sex.
And?
And then she found out about it.
And?
And after that, she wouldn't let me call my dad to ask for him to come and get me.
How old's the boyfriend?
He's 16. She told many people that she was keeping the class ring money to pay for an attorney because she pushed him in church.
She pushed him in church?
Yes.
Ah.
They never went to court over that, though. But she told me that she was going to keep the money for that. And also, one of the reasons why I left her house was because we was having way too many problems. She wouldn't let me call my dad. So I told her that I was going to the neighbor's house. And then when I went to the neighbor's house, she had called the police on me. And the police came, and she told the police that I had ran away and that I kicked in their door. I was really upset that she would do something like that.
Because she's a bad person. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm just saying I'm
asking you a question.
I can't believe that a grandma would do that, you know.
You think she was trying to be vicious and mean to you?
Yes, I do, because I did not run away. I told her where I was going.
Just a second. I'm just asking you. You think that she's trying to be vicious and mean to you?
Yes.
Where's the boyfriend?
He's in Arkansas. I don't go out with him anymore.
Why not?
Because I moved to Iowa.
Does he call you all the time?
Not anymore. We used to. He used to call every night at 9.
When did he stop?
After we broke up.
Why did you break up?
Because I was going to school and going to work, and I didn't have time to talk to him.
Oh, I don't believe that, my dear. That's a fib. Going to school and going to work doesn't mean that you can't talk to him at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, so that, I don't buy that.
She's not allowed to talk on the phone after certain hours.
Mr. Durant, you are nothing but trouble.
No, that may be.
You are nothing but trouble. What I'm telling you is if you find yourself in the unenviable position of having a 16-year-old that you're in charge of because, according to you, father works all the time and the mother is not capable, I'm going to tell you that you should not, under any circumstances, encourage her or importune her or support her in cutting off ties with a biological family. That is a very stupid thing.
I do not do that.
Very stupid thing. Well, you're being here today. Your being here today suggests to me that you do, because but for your intervention, she could have not proceeded with this case today since you are her guardian for some bizarre reason. So if it were me, I would have said to her, listen, you're not talking about a lot. I don't know how much money your husband sent to Grandma for taking care of her for the year and a half she was there. How many thousands of dollars a month did he send?
$150.
A month?
A month.
A month. You can't feed a large goldfish for $150 a month. So her grandmother supported her, took care of her for a year and a half. Far more than
And
a couple
we're
$100
grateful
for a
that she did it.
class ring. For a class ring, which I don't see why she needs, because she left her grandmother before school was out. Your case is dismissed. Be smart. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It wasn't the $350.
It wasn't about the money.
She has got to learn lessons in her life.
I was just wanting her to feel what she did to me, you know,
That you suffer the consequences for your actions.
of her lying and stealing from her own granddaughter.
With the parental guidance that she has at this time,
I hope that her conscience gets to her.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I think it's very sad.
I just think it's pretty pathetic that me being an outsider, I have to take care of her.
But regardless, I love her. She'll always be my daughter.
Can't get her own mother to take care of her.
And I always want what's best for her.
It really bothers me. It hurts my heart.
Oh, I'm happy the way that I'm living now.
She knows my phone number.
So things are just normal for me.
And now James Frederick is suing his girlfriend's ex, security officer David Abbasi, for breaking his ankle during a fight. David says James attacked him.
Now, this is case number 80 on the calendar in the matter of Frederick versus Abbasi. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Mr. Frederick, the defendant is your girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, and it is your claim that you both found yourself at the same bar and that Mr. Abbasi assaulted you at the bar, causing you to fracture your ankle. You want him to pay all of your expenses relative to that assault and also some punitive damages. Mr. Abbasi says that you were the aggressor that night. He didn't see you injure yourself, and if it wasn't for your aggressive behavior, none of this would have happened. That's your defense. Is that right?
Yes.
When did this incident occur?
The night of February 7th, approximately 10:30,
And what was the name of the establishment that you were visiting?
the Horseshoe Pub,
What time did you arrive there?
approximately 10 o'clock, I believe.
When you got there, was the defendant there?
Yes, I did know who he was. I'd never met him before that time.
Had you been to this bar before?
Yes, not very much. I don't go out to bars very often.
What prompted you to go there this evening?
Just to get out for a little while. I was supposed to meet my girlfriend there a little later.
Well, did you meet her there?
Yes, she came in probably about an hour later.
Before she arrived, you didn't know who this gentleman was.
Right.
When your girlfriend arrived, she advised you who this was.
Yes, once she saw him.
And you didn't know who he was, sir, when he arrived there. Is that
No,
right?
I didn't.
How long has this young lady been your girlfriend? Or how long had she been your girlfriend on February 7th?
For 4 months, approximately.
How long had you been separated from her?
About 3 months.
You mean there was a month overlap?
Yeah, I believe they were 3 months in the relationship, not 4 months.
Did she leave you for him?
Yeah,
How long had you been together?
about a year and a half.
Were you upset?
Yeah,
Had you lived together?
yeah.
So she left you
She was cheating on me.
with him
Yeah,
and left the home that you shared to move in with you?
Yes. She wasn't cheating, Your Honor.
But she moved in with you immediately after she left him?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, so tell me what happened.
Well, on that night...
After your girlfriend arrived. We're at the point where your girlfriend arrived at the bar.
Okay. After she arrived, I noticed... Well, she had told me who Mr. Abbasi was. At that point, then, I acknowledged him.
How did you acknowledge him?
Well, after my girlfriend had told me who he was.
How did you acknowledge him, is my question. Did you shake his hand? Did you go over and say, hello, I'd like to introduce myself? How did you acknowledge him?
No, nothing like that.
Just tell me how you acknowledged him.
I just looked at him. That was it.
Okay.
After that, I didn't say anything, didn't do anything. She wanted to leave, which I probably should have taken her.
That was very smart of her.
Yes, it was.
She said, he's here and I want to leave.
Yes.
And you said?
I wanted to stick or I wanted to stay.
Me?
I should have went with her, decision. Afterwards, probably I'd say 15, 20 minutes afterwards, Mr. Abbasi just started to look my way, and at both Lucy and I, and adjacent to him was a lady, and he was more or less smiling, laughing, pointing at us, and I just wanted to know what was going on. So I more or less shrugged my hands up. And
How far were you from him when you did that?
Maybe 20 feet.
It's not far.
Not very far, right. After that, basically, he got up in anger. At that point, he started really prancing or almost running towards me on the other side of the bar. And I didn't know what he wanted. I didn't know if he wanted to fight. I didn't know if he wanted to talk. So I got up and I met him halfway through the bar. At that point, I lost him in the crowd. There were a lot of people there. And after that, he shoved me after he saw me, and I didn't know where he was. I fell back into the crowd, and I tried to regain my balance. And after I tried to regain my balance, he shoved me again. This time, I fell backwards in an awkward way and broke my ankle.
Now, your version of the events, Mr. Abbasi.
He waved me over to fight.
Show me how he did that.
By putting his hands over like that.
He went like that?
Yeah, calling me, saying he's going to kick my butt. We met simultaneously.
I don't want you to make things up as you're going along, Mr. Abbasi. Listen to me. Are you telling me from across the bar you heard him say something to you?
No.
Or are you just showing me this?
I heard him say he's going to kick my butt and wave me over. And then...
And what did you do?
We both simultaneously...
No. So he waved you over to come over because he wanted to fight with you.
Yeah.
And you being the intelligent, sober guy that you are...
I wasn't sober.
Oh, you weren't? Well, that accounts for something. So you were drunk.
Yeah.
So he waved you over, and you went over to fight with him.
Well, I was just thinking we're going to stick chests and try and talk it down, but then when I seen his fist come in, I had to push him.
Your Honor, that's a lie.
No, I don't want to hear you.
I'm sorry.
So continue. Let's keep going. So you got over there, he's waving you on, saying he's going to kick your butt. You go over there to butt chests with him because that's all you thought he was going to do. You saw him fist up his hand, and so you pushed him.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how he hurt his ankle. If he hurt his ankle at all.
He claims that my shove threw him 10 feet across the room into a pool table, causing his ankle to break in 3 spots.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. James Frederick says he was attacked by his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, David Abbasi. David says James instigated the fight.
Now I'll hear you. Step up. Who are you?
I'm the bartender that night.
Let me ask you this. What's your last name?
Banks.
Miss Banks, you know Mr. Abbasi and his girlfriend. Is that right?
Yes.
And how long have you seen Mr. Frederick in the
I
bar?
only had seen him that one night.
Where do you come from?
Palmdale.
And this bar is in Palmdale?
Yes.
How many bars are there in Palmdale?
4 or 5.
Mr. Frederick, what prompted you to go to that bar this evening? Because you went there by yourself, and you were meeting Lucy there, right?
Yes.
But Lucy was the one who suggested the Horseshoe Club?
Actually, I was.
Really? And Lucy didn't say to you, no, I don't want to go there because I used to go there with David?
Well, that was brought up, but I reassured her it was all right.
You're a troublemaker.
I didn't see any problem. I didn't know David.
You didn't see any problem? Mr. Frederick, if you weren't looking for trouble for one reason or another, sir, you wouldn't have gone to the bar if she gave you prior notice that this is a place where David would hang out. And when she arrived and she saw him there and she said to you, let's go, I feel uncomfortable. And you said, not me, I'm not going anywhere. I want to sit here. So despite the fact that she was uncomfortable and that the presence of the two of you was just an exacerbating circumstance, you decided to stay. Now, I'm not sure about on a legal level, but on a moral level, you got what you deserved. You look for trouble, it's going to find you. You know, there's certain things your grandmother says to you that are true. And one of them is, if you look for trouble, you're going to find it. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you visit your troubles on me and the taxpayer. Because this process cost money. And because you decided to be a macho jerk, you cost the taxpayer money. whether it's in this court and any other court. You're gobbling up court time for people who really have cases over which they had no control. You had plenty of control. I didn't go to another one of the 4 bars in Palmdale. Or when you went in there and you saw him there, you knew who he was, and Lucy said, let's go. You got up, paid for the drink, and you leave. Right?
Right. That's what my plan was, but I didn't take fast enough action.
Okay. Did you file a police complaint, Mr. Frederick?
Yes, I did, Your
I'd
Honor.
like to see it, please.
I filed that the day after.
Why the day after, sir?
I was going to file it at the bar, and had I done so, he would have been incarcerated. I wanted to take care of my ankle. It was hurting and it was broken.
So you went immediately from the bar to the emergency room?
Yes.
Okay. Well, evidently they did an investigation, and they didn't arrest Mr. Abbasi for assault. Do you know why, sir?
Basically, they couldn't find him, and DA didn't want to prosecute because it's a typical bar fight. They see it a lot, so they didn't feel it.
Because it's just as possible that you lost your balance because you were drunk.
I wasn't that drunk, Your Honor.
How do I know that? You don't have to be that drunk to trip. Mr. Frederick, I said something to you before, sir, and what I said, you may sit down. What I said to you before is if you look for trouble, you're going to find it. Now, I don't necessarily think that it was Mr. Abbasi's intention to get into a confrontation with you that evening, but it is clear to me that it was your intention to get into a confrontation with him. I say that for the following reasons. I am now summing up. Your girlfriend told you that she was going to meet you that evening. You discussed going to the Horseshoe Bar. She said, I don't think I want to go to the Horseshoe Bar because that's where David hangs out. You said, I don't care, I'll meet you there. It'll be ridiculous. You go there, and sure enough, when she shows up an hour later, after you've had a couple of drinks, she says to you, I don't want to stay because David's at the other side of the bar. And you say, I don't care. Let's see what goes down if we stay here. It seemed to me, Mr. Frederick, you got the girl. You should be a happy guy. You shouldn't be looking for trouble. The girl that you're living with, the girl that you're happy with says, I'm not comfortable here. You pick yourself up and you leave. Chose not to do that. He pushed you. You fell. You broke your ankle. That's an accident. Goodbye.
Apologize, shoes, and they step out.
The man's got issues where he can't get over his ex-girlfriend.
He wanted to show me he has her.
I didn't think he was, a violent guy.
She wants to see us fighting over each other.
He was lucky he got away with this.
I'm just glad justice is done.
And now the next case. William Richard is suing his son's former friend, 20-year-old home health aide Crystal Davis, for vandalizing his home. William says Crystal and her friends threw 2 open cans of paint through his front window.
Now, this is case number 193 on the calendar in the matter of Richard versus Davis. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Is this your mother?
Yes.
Mr. Richard, it is your claim that the defendant, along with 2 others, vandalized your home a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
Is that right? Now, Ms. Davis says that while she was with these 2 other people who vandalized your home, she really didn't do anything herself. She was just in the car with them.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I understand the relationship between the 2 of you. Your mother was dating his son.
No, she wasn't dating his son.
She was what with his son?
He worked on her cars and he helped fix things around her house.
You mean there was no relationship other than that of a handyman with your mother?
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right, sir?
No, sir.
It is your claim that your son and this lady had a relationship.
My son lived with her about 2 years.
In her house?
In her house.
And it is your claim that the relationship was more than that of just a handyman?
Yes.
And at some point, you got annoyed with his son?
Yes.
Why, Miss Davis? I'd like you to speak up so I can hear you. I'm getting older.
He threatened my mom's life. He put his...
Why would he do that?
He was crazy. He was jealous. I don't know.
He was jealous? Well, why would a handyman be jealous of your mother?
He liked her and she didn't want nothing to do with him.
Did he live in your house?
For a couple months.
So the answer is he lived in your house?
Yes.
And he liked your mother?
Yes.
And she didn't like him?
No.
Tell me about the vandalism to your house, Mr. Richard.
They threw 2 buckets of paint through the window, and it went all over the furniture and carpet and everything.
Do you have pictures of the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see it, please? Had your son moved home when this happened?
No, he was living with me because we was remodeling the place.
What I'm asking you, Mr. Richard, is had your son left Miss Davis's home at that point?
Yes.
Now, tell me what happened on June 30th, Miss Davis. And I want you to keep your voice up and keep your eyes over here.
He had called my mom several times that day, threatening her life. And
you mean his son?
Yes. And he had called my grandparents, threatening them. He threatened me and my brother's life. I told a couple of my friends what he had been saying, and...
You told who?
2 of my friends.
Names?
Chuck and...
Chuck what? Who else did you tell?
Well, his friend. I don't know his name.
You told them what?
What his son had been doing.
Okay. And then what happened?
They said they knew how to get back at him. They got 2 cans of paint, and we drove in his car.
In whose car?
Chuck's.
And where did you go?
To his son's house.
Well, you didn't know that Chuck's friend, is that right?
No, I'd only met him a couple times.
And Chuck? Does Chuck know his son?
Yeah, he's met him.
Where?
At my mom's house.
But you knew where he lived?
Yes.
They didn't know where he lived. So you had to give them directions?
Yes.
Right. So you gave them directions on how to get there. And what happened when they got there?
They pulled up in front of his house and got out, threw the paint through the windows, got back in the car and left.
Okay. On June 30th, my friends took it upon themselves to vandalize Tony Richards' house. That's what you wrote here, right? As is stated in the police report, I didn't throw the paint, so no charges were filed. Did you tell the police that you went to Chuck's friend's house when they gathered the paint together?
No.
No. Did you tell the police that you gave them directions on how to get to Mr. Richards' house?
No.
No. How come you told me? Because I asked you?
Yes.
And because you knew that you couldn't lie to me. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
What makes you think that you are not responsible for the damage to Mr. Richards' house?
Because I didn't do it.
Because what?
I didn't actually throw the paint.
Is there something wrong with you?
No.
You are responsible. You instigated it. You were involved in gathering the materials for the vandalism. You were responsible for directing these other 2 people, if they were in fact the ones that threw the paint, directing them how to get to Mr. Richards' home, something that they did not know. You are responsible. You understand?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. It says, his son's former friend vandalized his home with paint. Crystal Davis says she didn't act alone.
Now, you decided not to pursue this matter because your son asked you not to. Is that right?
My son did it on his own. I didn't know nothing about it.
Did what on his own?
He didn't press charges on it because he made a deal with her mother.
Drop the charges.
That she would not file charges against him if he wouldn't file charges against them. The next day, she filed charges against my son.
Is your son in jail now?
Yes, ma'am.
Is he crazy?
No, ma'am.
How many times has your son been arrested?
I say 3 or 4 times.
That is not true.
Step up. Ms. Davis, clearly you exercised poor judgment in having this person move into your house. I'm surmising that there was more to this relationship than either you're telling me or that your daughter's telling me.
Oh, there's more.
There's more. Okay. Do you know how many times Mr. Richards' son was arrested?
36 times on separate accounts.
Can I see, please?
Yes.
How many of those involved you?
He was never arrested on my account, unfortunately.
Okay, but he was arrested 36 times. on other charges.
Other charges, such as armed robbery, all those there listed.
Check if the defendant's criminal history reveals that he has been arrested 36 times on such violent charges as armed robbery, breaking and entering, prowling, burglary, DUI, carrying a concealed weapon, a machete, drug possession, felony battery.
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, well, you got to listen. You got to pay more attention to what's happening in your own family, Mr. Richard. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That, madam, does not excuse trashing his house. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see the bill for cleanup of this house, please?
Your Honor.
What?
May I get to say something?
Sure.
All these papers here are restraining orders that I filed.
I think he's a bad person. Miss Davis, that doesn't give your daughter license to trash Mr. Richards' house. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
Right, it doesn't give her license to take the law into her own hands and throw paint through a window at his house.
I understand that, Your Honor.
Good, that's all.
It's not all. What this man has put us through, and
Which
my
man?
family, his son.
He is not responsible for his 43-year-old son. Are you responsible for what your daughter did?
In a way, yes, I guess I am.
Good, then you can pay the damages. His son put you through a lot. What possible motive would you have to bring a nut into your house?
He was referred to me as a mechanic and a handyman.
So you bring a 40-some-odd-year-old man into your house. You have no idea about his background. It turns out he's been arrested 36 times. That doesn't make you a genius.
Well,
in any event, his son may have caused you all kinds of aggravation, but that doesn't give your daughter license to trash Mr. Richards' house. And if you don't see it, then I understand why you brought this 40-year-old felon into your house.
Your Honor.
What?
My son met her at a bar.
Listen to me. Your son is where he belongs. He is in jail. I hope.
But this is what brought everything up.
Listen to me.
To this deal.
Listen to me. Your son is in all probability a nut. That doesn't mean that she wasn't a lonely lady. But your son is a nut. That doesn't excuse what she did, and for that you're going to get paid. And since her mother says, well, I'm partially responsible for what she did, she can help.
Well, I certainly wish the law had helped us in all this whole time.
Madam, if you exercised better judgment, you wouldn't be standing here today. That doesn't excuse what Mr. Richards' son did to you and your family. It doesn't excuse the fact that the law may have been slow in moving to get him out of your life, but it does not excuse your daughter's criminal behavior.
So what about responsibility of the two gentlemen who did do actually throwing of the paint?
Listen, you can, if you like, sue them and say, my daughter didn't act alone. There were three of you. It's not up to him to go find these two other people. She doesn't even know the name of one of them, according to her, which I don't believe. How is he supposed to find out where they are? She knows where they are. She enlisted their assistance. It's her responsibility. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The system is certainly for the criminal, not for the innocent victims.
She's playing the victim because every time something comes up, she calls the police, has them arrested for stalking.
She would never got involved with something like that if it hadn't have been that this man had been harassing me.
We met her in a bar. 15 minutes later, they had her out on the hood of a car.
Your son has stalked my mom.
I don't know that. That was between my son and her mother.
I didn't actually do it, and anything he did get, he deserves.
I would have pressed charges against that for criminal.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lewis versus Robbins. Step forward, please.
Homemaker Debbie Lewis is suing her ex-husband, assembly line worker James Robbins, for half the cost of their daughter's wedding. Debbie says he reneged on his promise to pay.
Mr. Lewis, the defendant is your former husband, and according to the complaint that I read, he agreed to pay for half of your daughter's wedding. Which one of these two lovelies is getting married? What's your name?
Angie.
How old are you, Angie?
23.
When are you getting married?
I already got married. I got married in September.
And he agreed to pay for half the wedding, and it was a very reasonably priced wedding. Half the cost of the wedding was $865. And he didn't pay.
No.
And you want him to pay.
Yes.
And he did go to the wedding?
Yes. He walked her down the aisle, did everything the father does.
Okay.
Except for pay.
Okay. Now, Mr. Robbins does not deny the fact that he agreed to pay for half the wedding. Correct, sir?
Correct.
And he does not deny the fact that he went to the wedding. Correct?
Correct.
And who else went with you to the wedding?
My wife, Robin.
So, Mr. Robbins, the ball is in your court, sir. Why didn't you pay for half your daughter's wedding as you promised?
Well, because ever since I've left her in 90, she's been putting her hands in my pockets trying to get money out of me for everything. And the divorce decree that we have does say that she gets to use the kids for taxes reasons. But the state of Utah took custody from her because of verbal and physical abuse. And I got a paper here that says that the divorce decree follows the child. And it cost me $1,600 because she did claim my daughter on taxes where I have the right to. And I also have a letter from her that's showing that the custodial parent gets to claim them on taxes. And if that's the case, I didn't get claimed for 13 years that we've been divorced.
If you believe that in a certain year, I assume last year, that you had the right to claim a child as a deduction, she claims the child. You claim the child, and the IRS is going to come and look at both of your tax returns and say they will make a decision as to who is going to claim the child as a deduction. The other one will have a penalty. But you don't do a set-off. You promise to pay for half the wedding. Why didn't you pay her between September and April?
I told her that I would pay her when I could, which would...
No, that's not right. What do you mean when you could? How many children do you have?
Well, I have 4 with my wife now.
We have 3 children.
Just a second. You have 4 children now. And how many children do you have that got married last year?
Just 1.
And you said you would pay for half the wedding.
Yes, I did.
Pay for it. It's the right thing to do. And stop making excuses and stop telling me what happened in 1990. That she's had her hand in your pocket.
Well, it just all added up. I mean, everything's added up.
Mr. Robbins, you have altogether 7 children?
Well, I got 4 stepchildren, 3.
Then I'm not talking about your stepchildren. They are not your responsibility.
Oh, I married them, so I feel they are.
Well, I'm telling you, by law, they are not your responsibility unless your family is on welfare, are they?
No.
Well, if your family is not on welfare, then those children are not your financial responsibility. They are the financial responsibility of their mother and their father, not you. You have primary responsibility for only 3 biological children. 3. And your first biological child was getting married. She was having a very small wedding. $865 represents your half. And if you didn't have the money to pay the $865, you should have gotten another job. Do I make myself clear, sir?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $865. That's all.
Thank you.
All these are excuses.
28-year-old craftsman Jamie Cadell and her mother, Margaret Jeannie Pels, are suing Jamie's ex-boyfriend, plumbing contractor John Kuhn, for the value of a stolen money order and for the return of personal property.
Yeah, this is case number 117 on the calendar in the matter of Pels, Cadell versus Kuhn. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat, please.
What's your first name?
Jamie.
And yours?
Margaret.
You're her mother?
Yes.
You're Miss Peltz?
Yes, I am.
Miss Peltz, you gave your daughter $500 in cash because there was an outstanding warrant for her, she thought, for back child support.
Correct.
She has children who are in the custody of who?
The biological father.
She can speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the biological father.
And how many children do you have?
5.
How old are you?
28.
Are all 5 children with the same father?
No, Your Honor.
Where are the 5 children?
When I got pregnant at 13, and I gave birth at 14, and I had 2 children by the age of 16.
Where are those 2 children?
One is with the adoptive father. My other child was murdered when adopted out.
At what age? 2? Okay. How many children are with their father?
3.
And you have a current child support order, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. You fell behind in your child support?
Yes.
Your mother gave you $500 so you could turn yourself in, according to you, and get the warrant lifted. According to your complaint, Mr. Kuhn got possession of this money order and didn't give it back to you. So you want that $500, and you also claim he has your property, clothes, pictures, etc., that he refused to return to you when he kicked you out of the house. You want a total of $1,200 from the defendant. Mr. Kuhn says never took your $500. You have your $500. That you have a drug problem, that's probably what you used it for. And as far as your property is concerned, he boxed it all up, put it on the porch. He has no idea what happened to it.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Kuhn, how old are you, sir?
48, I'm sorry.
So you're 20 years older than Jamie, is that
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
The two of you lived together for a period of time? Uncross your hands, sir.
On and off for 3 years.
Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Does she work?
No, ma'am.
Did she work during the 3 years you were together?
Not one day.
So you were taking care of her and supporting her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any of her children lived with you at the time?
No, we fought tooth and nail to try to get some of these children back for her, but that was to no avail.
Okay. Tell me, Jamie, about this $500 money order.
My mother gave me $500.
Why?
And I turned it into...
Why?
Oh, I'm sorry. For my child support, there was a bench warrant that was issued, so I had, instead of paying $160, I had to pay $500 to get it dropped.
Why didn't you pay the child support?
I wasn't working at the time.
Why not?
I've had medical problems that have kept me from working.
What
and
kind of
also,
medical problems?
I had severe hemorrhaging that went on for months. Not only that, Mr. Kuhn was also very controlling in our relationship.
None of that's true, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's get back to the $500. Your mother gave you $500 in cash, right? Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Actually, I had the $500 turned into a money order, which I have the receipt.
Good. I'll take a look at that. So she gave you the $500 in cash. You got a money order. Who told you to get the money order?
I wanted to because I wanted to make sure it went to the child support. I didn't trust Mr. Kuhn because of his drug problem.
Just a second. No, Mr. Kuhn.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay. And go ahead.
We did go to turn myself in, and they said that they couldn't find any warrants on me, that I would have to go over to city. It wasn't a matter that I could take care of at that point. It was a Friday, so I wanted to contact my attorney the following Monday to find out what I needed to do to resolve the matter. I ended up going out of town with Mr. Kuhn to Fredonia. He had some work out there to do, and the $500 money order went with us both.
Yes.
Upon coming home from Fredonia...
Which was when?
The Friday following.
So you were there for a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Go ahead.
When we had returned home, actually it was Mother's Day. I had ran some errands and came home with dinner, and since I wouldn't make his dinner plate, he proceeded to tear up the house and throw objects at me.
Not true, Your Honor.
I'm going to get to you, sir. Uncross your hands. Go ahead.
Upon that, I called my mother to come pick me up because I was afraid for my safety. I left all my belongings. I left with the clothes on my back and no shoes or nothing.
And?
From there, we contacted an officer the next day to follow me over so I can try to get my things. Mr. Kuhn had changed the locks. My house key no longer worked. We do know he was home. He would not answer the door.
I'm still not hearing about the $500 money order.
Mr. Kuhn was in possession of it. He told me he would not let me have it, that he didn't trust me, that he would return it to my mother.
When did he tell that to you?
We had a huge fight in Fredonia, and I asked for it back.
What was the fight about in Fredonia?
I do not recall what the fight was about.
Do you recall?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Want to tell me about it?
The fight in Fredonia was about the fact that she wanted to cash the money order and spend it to buy pills from a friend.
What kind of pills?
Lortabs in specific.
What are they for?
They are painkiller. They're Lortabs, Oxycontins. This has been a prevalent problem throughout the entire relationship.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Elle says ex-boyfriend John Kuhn stole her money order and won't return her belongings. John says Jamie used the money order to buy drugs.
Okay. You have a drug problem, Jamie?
In the past, I did, yes, Your Honor.
Well, in the past, I mean, you're talking about yesterday, a month ago, 6 months ago?
I've been clean for a month and a half, Your Honor.
Prior to the month and a half, you've had a drug problem. What kind of drugs?
Loratabs and meth, which John actually introduced me into.
But you've been with him for 3 years, according to him. Is that right, off and on?
About that, yes,
But you lost your children way before that. You lost your children as a result.
When I was very young.
You weren't very young. You were 25. According to you, you're 28 years old.
No.
Listen to me carefully. I'm talking about the 3 children that are with their biological father at this point.
Okay.
You visit with them? Is not an answer. Do you visit with them? The answer is either yes or no.
Yes.
When?
Right now it's been suspended. I'm currently
Has it been
working on
suspended
that.
because of your drug use?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, I was a family court judge, madam. They don't preclude a parent, especially a mother in family court, from seeing her children unless there's a serious problem. So in Fredonia, when you were there with Mr. Kuhn, you had a fight. You said you don't remember what it was about. Mr. Kuhn says that you wanted to buy pills from a friend of his. So if you don't remember what the fight was about, I have to assume that he's telling me the truth.
Your Honor, he needed $50 because he had not gotten paid on his jobs. I told him he could use $50 out of the money order for food for us. He promised to pay me that back when he got paid on this job. It was not for drugs.
Ms. Kuhn, you were not working over the 3-year period, so I assume you were being supported, the two of you, since you were living together somehow. Were you being supported because Mr. Kuhn was working?
Working, but he was also very controlling.
I don't care about controlling. He was working.
Off and on, Your Honor.
And that's how you supported yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh.
And my mother.
What happened to the $500, sir?
I honestly don't know. The last time I saw the money order was on a Thursday evening in my wallet, and by Friday it was gone.
Where were you with it? Were you in Fredonia at the time?
We were in Fredonia at that time.
Now, you drove back when, sir? On Sunday?
Late Friday evening.
You drove back together?
Yes.
Did you ask her about it?
Yes, I did.
What'd she say?
It was none of my business. It was her money. She could do with it what she wanted to. It's what she
What
told me.
happened on Sunday when you got home?
Saturday, she slept all day, which was something that I was accustomed to. Sunday, about 5 o'clock, she woke up. We had purchased Mother's Day cards for our respective parents, and my mother's in a home. She's disabled. And I told her, my mother's not going anywhere. Get off your butt. Go see your mother. Give her your card. You know, take care of some things. I gave her $25 and told her to bring home some supper, since I obviously wasn't going to get any other way. 4 hours later, she showed up and she was high. She had cold fried chicken, 7 pieces of cold fried chicken, and said that they had cheated her out of the mashed potatoes, corn, or whatever that was supposed to go with it. I had been working at the house. I live on 3 acres, and I had grass to cut. And I was hot and I was tired, and she told me to fix my own damn plate, threw the chicken on the table, at which time I told her she needed to call her mother because I wasn't going to put up with it any longer. As far as her being in fear of her life, I don't know what that's about. She called her mother, and I told her mother over the phone she needed to come get her daughter, that I was through playing this game.
Did she come and get her?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
She came straight away.
Ms. Peltz, either on Sunday or Monday, did you go to Mr. Kuhn's house to pick up your daughter?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And at what time? Don't speak.
It was roughly probably around 5:36 in the evening.
And when you got there, was your daughter inside the house or outside of the house?
She was outside the house.
Where was she outside of the house?
Across the street at a convenience store.
And she got into the car and you left?
Correct.
When was the next time you went back to or telephoned Mr. Kuhn?
The day after we wanted to go get Jamie, my daughter's belongings. When I picked her up, all she had was the clothes on and no shoes. She wanted her court papers and her clothing and her personal belongings, which are pictures of my grandchildren.
Okay. She wanted her clothing and some photographs.
Yes.
And what happened when you got there?
He wouldn't answer the door.
Okay. Do you have her clothing, sir?
No, ma'am, I do not.
What did you do with it?
They called me repeatedly on Monday, made threats, so on and so forth. On Tuesday the 11th, I called them and I told them about 7:30 at night that I was leaving and I would not be home for an entire 24-hour period. That their clothes
Who
were
did you
setting.
speak to?
I spoke twice to their answering machine because they know my phone number and they never answer the phone when I call. That's just their way they do things.
You put her clothes outside.
2 bags of clothes, 3 boxes of court papers that were generated from my computer at my expense anyway, but they were her court papers. Nevertheless, she got them. There was a few pictures, an 8x10 and a little bitty photo album about this big of snapshots. This person here happened to be there when I set the clothes out and made the first phone call.
Oh, really? Step up. Tell me your name.
Linda Gordon.
What were you doing at Mr. Kuhn's home?
I'd gotten off work at 6 o'clock that evening. My boss had asked me to please go talk to him about getting him to come down and do some work on our beach bathrooms.
How do you know him?
I used to be an employee of his years ago, and we then became friends.
Anything more than friends?
No, never.
Now, tell me about what you saw and heard.
When I'd gotten out there, I went out there, was going to speak with Jamie and John, because I had been visiting with them anyway, and see their new house. I hadn't been out there yet. And when I got there...
So you knew Miss Cadell as well?
Yes, ma'am. When I got there, John was in the middle of, packing some things up, and I had asked what was going on. He said she was leaving, and he would be more than happy to come in and give that bid, but he had to get this done first. I actually helped him pack some things, and it was approximately 7:30 to 8 o'clock or so when he did call and say he had packed them, put them out back in a breezeway in a little alcove so they wouldn't be bothered by the weather, and I proceeded to go back into Wichita. He said he'd meet me there.
Is there a key that's required to get into the breezeway?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
And you heard him make that phone call?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the breezeway shielded from the street so that you don't see it from the street?
You cannot see anything from the street. It is a garage breezeway behind the house. There's no way it can be seen. Nobody knew the clothes were there except her and I.
Your Honor, I have a PFA against him because of the incident that took place.
Let me see.
This is the second PFA I've had to take out on him,
the
Your
first one
Honor.
she dismissed. I have evidence here that she dismissed the first one when I paid her child support again.
Your Honor, he's bounced a lot of checks.
What?
I'm sorry. He bounces a lot of checks. He wrote a hot
Listen,
check to her.
Madam, I don't know why somebody who's 48 years old, who is a seemingly responsible guy, who has a job, who has a business, takes up with somebody 20 years his junior who's a drug abuser. I don't know why somebody who's, rap type does that anyway. I think that there's something wrong with him. I don't want you to get me wrong. I think that anybody who does that is looking to control somebody else because that's the symbiotic relationship that you enjoy. You're a drug abuser, unemployed, got 5 kids. I'm speaking. He pays your child support, he takes care of your bills, and he has the ability to say to you, prepare a plate of food for me. Listen to me. That's the dynamics. If you don't want to be controlled by somebody, whether it's this man or your mother or any of the other fathers of your children, what you do is you get your behind out of bed and you go and get a job and support yourself and pay rent and pay food and make a car payment and pay insurance and take care of yourself. I have no sympathy for you, and I have no idea where your $500 is. I have no confidence that he didn't spend it, but I have equally no confidence that she didn't take it out and buy pills. You hearing me?
Yes.
Good.
I have a tracer on that.
Good. So, show just a second. If you have a tracer on it, do you have proof? Okay. If you have a tracer, do you have proof that he cashed this money order?
No, I've been waiting for it in the mail. No,
Listen,
I don't
care what's in the mail. Listen to me very carefully, madam. If you have a tracer and if you're able to show me that he cashed the money order...
It's on that paper.
On which paper?
The very first one that he given you.
Yes. Show me where it says that he cashed it.
No, back behind there is a tracer on the money order, and I'm waiting for the name.
Well, what does that do for me? What does that do for me? I'm the fact finder. The tracer could say she cashed it. The tracer could say he cashed it. Put your hand down. The tracer could say the drug dealer cashed it. It's a money order. It's a blank money order. Do you understand?
I understand
that. Okay, so I have no confidence that your daughter didn't take that money order, just like a person who's involved with drugs steals. Do you understand?
I understand, but he has a drug problem.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me, madam.
I'm listening.
Mr. Kuhn.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. That's just hilarious.
Don't, Nick. You're irritating me. I mean, as much as she is, you're irritating me.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, I don't know where your $500 is, madam. I don't know whether your daughter took it or Mr. Kuhn took it. There is just as likely that she took it and spent it on pills as he took it and did something else with it. Do you understand?
I understand.
Very good. Put your hand down. As far as her property is concerned, I believe this witness that he packed up the property and put it in the breezeway. I believe that he did that. And I don't know who came and got it. I don't know whether she came and got it or you came and got it and you think you're going to put one over on me. I guarantee you're not. Now, you have a counterclaim, sir.
Yes, I do,
Your
Your Honor.
counterclaim is that you voluntarily paid her child support payments. $1,200.
That's right.
That's real nice of you. So why are you bothering me with it now?
Because I was promised that I would be paid back this money, and I can document the fact that I have paid. I have received.
Oh, I believe that you paid, sir. I believe that what you were doing is you were supporting Jamie.
I was keeping her out of jail. She went to jail 5 times.
Listen to me, Mr. Kuhn. All you have to do is say, I'm leaving. Do you understand? Or you're leaving. Do you understand?
I did.
That's all you have to do, which is what you did. But then you can't come to court and sue for money. You paid her child support because you were living together and enjoying her companionship, whatever that was. You don't come to court and sue for it now. Do I make myself clear? You knew she wasn't working. You knew she had no capacity to pay you back.
She was supposed to get a job.
Well, she didn't, and she didn't in 3 years.
That's correct.
Right, good. So your counterclaim's dismissed. She was not a loan. And I have no clue what happened to the $500, so her claim is dismissed. That's all.
Excuse me, step out. I'm sorry that she's so upset. You know, I really did care about her.
Mr. Kuhn actually got me addicted to drugs. I'd never even tried drugs in my life until he came into my life.
There was just nothing I could do to help her.
He used it to get me addicted. I feel, you know, to keep a hold of a younger woman.
I would make my own dinner and clean my own house and wash my own clothes.
I just knew that he's a compulsive liar, and what comes around goes around, and God will get him back.
It's typical display for her.
Being with him was just very depressing, and I got addicted to the drugs.
I was praying that things would get better.
I would like to tell anybody else out there, stay away from it. It's bad.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of McCaskill versus Poole. Step forward, please.
17-year-old student Matt McCaskill is suing his schoolmate, 16-year-old Anthony Poole, and his father, Rob Poole. Matt claims Anthony keyed his truck.
Mr. McCaskill, is your claim that Mr. Poole, this young man, keyed your car?
Yes,
And Mr. Poole says that he did not do that. I assume you're his father?
Yes, ma'am.
You weren't present, is that right?
No.
You're here only because he's a minor.
That's correct.
You can sit down. When do you say that Mr. Poole keyed your car, sir?
February 25th.
Where?
On the driver's door to the driver's
No, not where on the car.
Oh.
Where was the car?
Oh, it was at the Midlothian High School parking lot.
What time?
3:40.
And where were you?
I was sitting in my truck.
Well, tell me about that, sir.
It was, I had just arrived, and I was waiting for my girlfriend to get out, and he was in football, which they had got out a little early at 3:40, which the bell rings at 3:45 each day. I had seen him walking down the parking lot. It was rainy, and my windows on my truck are dark, and when he was coming down, he walked between the two trucks and pulled his key out of his...
Walk between which two trucks?
My truck and the truck to the left of me. And he walked through, he pulled out his key out of his left pocket, and ran it from the driver's door to the driver's bed, and I had got out.
Okay. Did you know Mr. Poole before?
I have known of him. I've never met him.
Had you ever seen him before?
Yes, ma'am.
Where had you seen him before?
I had seen him at school and the Whataburger parking lot in Midlothian.
Immediately prior to the 25th of February, when had you seen him? A week, 2 weeks?
About a week.
Did you have any conversation with him?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so after you saw him key your car, what did you do?
I got out and started yelling at him to get back, and...
To get back where?
To get back over here because of what he had done, in which he had ran to the football fields, or where they play, which is also the baseball field house.
Did you follow him?
Yes, the two eyewitnesses that had seen him were in a 1984 Chevrolet Suburban, in which I hopped in with them and we drove down there.
You have a police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please. Did you file the police report on that day, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When was the next time you saw Mr. Poole?
He had ran into the coach's office saying that I was threatening to beat him up, and which he came out running, apologizing that he accidentally did it with his bag and that he would pay for all costs, and he was sorry. And
who did he say this in front of?
Well, the principals had just arrived down there, and the two coaches that were in the coach's office, because they had taken them into his office while I was outside because I was pretty steamed up.
Do you have any other school reports?
No, I don't, but I have pictures and estimates.
I'll take a look at the pictures. Is this your truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you buy it with your own money?
Yes, ma'am.
How long do you have it?
I just had got it probably 2 weeks prior to the incident.
Is this your first car?
No, it was my second one. My mom had bought my first one, and I told her she could have it back, and so...
So this is the first one you bought for yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Poole, now I'll hear you.
I walked out of the football field house. Before then, there was an incident at Whataburger. One of my friends told me some guys were making racial slurs about my girlfriend. One of the guys that he mentioned his name that I knew was in football. I said something to him. I asked him if they had something to say it to me. You don't say it to her. That's disrespectful. The next day, two guys were waiting outside the football field house. They're asking me to come over to the car, saying, "I bet you won't say something."
Look at me, sir. Don't look all over the place.
Yes, ma'am. They're asking me to come over to the car and say something to them.
Who was asking you to go over to what car?
I've never seen them before, or the car.
Was it Mr. McCaskill's car?
No, ma'am.
I don't know. I'm not following your story. Go ahead. You can't. Somebody wanted you to say something to somebody. Come on. Did you key his car?
No, ma'am.
No. When he was chasing you, why were you running away?
Because of the two people before him. They followed me in the parking lot.
When you got into the coach's office, did you say, "I'll pay for the damage"? When you, just listen to me carefully. When you got into the coach's office,
yes, ma'am,
did you say, "I'll pay for the damage"?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell your father that you said, "I'll pay for the damage"?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you tell your father that you said you would pay for the damage?
That night. But I said that I'd pay for it if my backpack left a scratch. He said on the statement that he heard me run by his car and a scratching sound. And I said, there's metal straps on my backpack. I said, maybe my backpack might have caused the scratching sound. Whenever I saw the keying mark, that wasn't from a backpack.
Mr. Poole.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know that if something doesn't make sense, it's usually not true, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And there are certain things that are common sense. Let me tell you what they are.
Yes, ma'am.
If a 17-year-old spends his own money that he's worked for to buy a truck or a car, that's usually their prized possession. And if somebody damages that car, what they want to do is have the person who purposely damaged that car be held responsible. You want to say something,
yes,
sir?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Stand up when you're talking.
Okay. Excuse me, ma'am. The only thing that I witnessed physically was the red whelps on my son's chest from the incident with the, over here on the map where he was walking between the two cars, one of the kids slammed the door open on his chest, and that's why he was...
Not this person.
We're not saying that he did it.
He did nothing.
No.
Do you understand, Mr. Poole, what I just said?
Yes, I do.
A 17-year-old doesn't blame somebody else.
Unless
destroying their property, their car.
Right.
Unless it's the person who did it. Unless there is an overriding reason for them to do that.
Or unless he wants a new paint job.
Why would he blame your son? And why would your son say, "I'll pay for the damage"? What he did was he caused the damage to the truck, and then he said, maybe it was an accident. Maybe my backpack, that's the story he's telling now, maybe my backpack, as I was walking by, hit the truck and scratched it. So all those things, Mr. Poole, are too serendipitous. The fact that he was there at the time that the truck was scratched. The fact that he witnessed the truck being scratched. The fact that he acknowledged after a chase that, well, maybe it was just, maybe I scratched it, but if I did, it was just by accident. Do you understand? He doesn't say he wasn't there, and he doesn't say he didn't scratch it. He said, if I scratched it, it was an accident. Are you following me?
Yes.
Good. Sit down. Can I see the estimates, please?
Yes.
Got to pay for the damage that you caused, sir. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,196. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Another friend at the school, which is in his football class, had said something, but I had nothing to do because I was waiting for my girlfriend up there, and so I had nothing to do with it, so I didn't think nothing of it.
I didn't want to go to my car and let them see my car, so I just kept running the field house.
Over the phone, they were saying that I had made racial slurs to them and that they weren't going to give me the money.
They made racial slurs. I don't know if it's him or friends, but it doesn't matter now.
Drug and alcohol counselor Dina Moran is suing her former friend, 22-year-old client service assistant Tasha Turner, for wrecking her Monte Carlo. Tasha says she caught Dina in bed with her boyfriend. She is countersuing for unpaid rent and bills.
All rise. Yeah, this is case number 96 on the calendar in the matter of Moran versus Turner. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Thank you, Bertha. These two are the saddest people that you've seen in a long time.
I know. I'm like...
It's just a little lawsuit. It's not life-altering. Miss Moran, this used to be your friend, and according to you, you loaned her your car. She crashed your car into a tree. You want her to pay for the damage.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Turner says pay for your own car. I took you into my home. You disrespected me, my home. You didn't pay rent, and she is counterclaiming for rent and utilities for the 3 months that you lived with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think we're going to start with your counterclaim.
Okay.
When did Miss Moran move into your home and why?
She ate up my food, ran up my bills, and haven't paid me a dime. And I have a witness here of the verbal agreement that me and her had.
And when did she move out?
She moved out in February, due to the fact that I caught her in the bed with my boyfriend.
Shh. February what?
February 6th. The sleazeball was in the bed with my man.
Okay. Was your boyfriend living with you at the time?
Yes, he was living with me for 5 years.
And what happened to him?
I smacked them both and threw them out my house.
Okay.
And their items.
Shh. Come on. When was she supposed to have started to pay rent?
The minute she moved in. She was claiming to help me because she had just started working at a job.
Did you start to pay rent?
No, Your Honor. She told me that, whenever you get on your feet, I'm willing to take whatever it is that you need, whatever it is that you can afford.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, not a problem. I'll pay you at the end of the month.
Okay. Did you pay her in January at the end of the month?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
How much did you give her?
I gave her...
Listen.
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you give her?
Your Honor, I only owed her $250, and I paid her.
You owed her $250 because that was your agreement, that you were going to pay her $250?
The agreement was I was supposed to pay her...
Look at me. Don't look over there.
I'm sorry. I was supposed to pay her at least half, and her rent is $400 and some odd dollars, and I gave her more than half because I paid her $250.
You didn't say that in your papers, and you didn't say that a moment ago, that you had an agreement to pay her half her rent. But now you acknowledge that you had an agreement to pay her half of her rent, and you say that you gave her $250 in January.
At the end of January, that is correct.
Do you have any proof of that?
No, Your Honor. She has the receipts.
Did she give you $250 in January?
No, she did not, Your Honor. She ain't gave me a dime.
Miss Moran, Miss Turner indicated that the reason you left the apartment is because she found you in a compromising position with her boyfriend. Is that accurate?
Your Honor, she really didn't catch me in the bed with him. She caught him coming on to me, and he was on top of me. There was no situation where we were in the bed and we were naked or anything like that.
Okay. So he, well, what I wasn't as graphic as you just were.
I'm sorry.
I said she caught you in a compromising position
This is true, Your Honor. And I was telling him to get off me, get away from me. You're supposed to be my best friend's boyfriend, and, it's, get away from me.
Okay. Now we're going to get to your claim.
Okay.
When did you loan her your car?
About the end of February.
After she threw you out?
She and I had come to an agreement that, all right, I explained to her the situation as to what she walked in and saw. She walked in and her boyfriend was standing on top of me, and he was like over my face like he wanted to kiss me, and he kept, trying to pull my clothing off and whatnot. And she walked in and seen that, and she and I had talked about it. And I truthfully think, Your Honor, she was using me because the tramp didn't have any money to get a rental car.
Listen to me, please. What I want to know, Miss Turner, is you called Miss Moran and asked to borrow her car.
Yes, I did.
Now, my question is, when it struck me in the papers, because you were very irate at what you saw with the plaintiff and your boyfriend,
Yes.
why would you call her and ask her for a favor to borrow her car if you were so angry?
I was, she was honestly my last resort. I don't want to have anything to do with the slut.
Well, listen to me.
I was on the verge of going to get fired from my job because I had missed days.
I would walk before I would call and ask somebody for a favor who had done something as disrespectful as you allege in your papers.
My job was an hour away. There was no way or nobody would let me borrow their vehicle.
And tell me about the accident that you had.
I was coming home from work around, I get off at 12, so it was around 12:15. I was coming home from work. It was dark at night. I was coming down a one-way street. What happened was my cell phone was ringing. I went to lean over to answer my cell phone. And when I went to reach over, the car drifted into the left telephone pole. It was on my left-hand side.
So the accident was clearly your fault, right?
I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
It was an accident.
Well, I said the accident was clearly your fault. It wasn't his fault, was it?
No.
It wasn't my fault. I wasn't leaning over to catch the phone.
No.
It wasn't her fault. She wasn't leaning over to get the phone. Right?
You're
It's
right.
your fault.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Dina Moran says former friend Tasha Turner wrecked her Monte Carlo. Tasha says Dina slept with her boyfriend.
Madam, when something is your fault, you have to pay for it.
I don't believe I should pay her anything because she owes me money.
Just a second. How much did it cost to fix the car?
Your Honor, it cost...
you have estimates?
Yes, ma'am. I have the estimates, and I also have pictures of the damage.
I want to see it.
I was also inconvenienced. I had to pay for a rental car.
You didn't have to pay for a rental car because you loaned her your car, and I assume you had two cars. Is that right?
This is true, but that other car...
This is true. All right. Good.
Yeah, she's lying, trying to get more money.
Your Honor, I also
Nope.
have...
I didn't ask you anything. Okay, so the damage is $29.54 to the car. There's substantial damage to the car. Pretty nasty pictures. Okay. Now, clearly, she doesn't owe you anywhere near $3,000.
Well, she owes me for the fact that I had to kick my boyfriend out, and he was helping me pay my bills also. And now I can't afford to pay my credit card bills. My license is about to get suspended because I can't pay my fine.
Your Honor, if she...
I didn't ask you anything.
I do apologize.
Good. Ms. Turner.
Yes.
I read that interesting and novel part of your lawsuit.
Yes.
That because of the compromising position you found your boyfriend and the plaintiff in, you threw him out.
Yes, I did.
And it's her fault that you had to throw him out.
Yes, it is.
So you want her to pay what he was paying you in rent, not only what she was supposed to pay you, but what he was paying you, which is well over $3,000.
Yes. If you look at my credit card bill, Your Honor.
Listen to me, my dear.
Yes.
If your boyfriend is a dog, he's a dog.
Well, he wasn't a dog till she moved in.
I want to tell you something. A dog is a dog is a dog.
Okay.
If it wasn't her, it would be somebody else. She was just convenient.
She came on.
Listen to me. She was just convenient. And certainly, you're not married to this man. There is no lawsuit for alienation of affection because you don't have a commitment to this guy, and he didn't have a commitment to you.
Well, I was with him for 5
Boyfriend.
years.
Boyfriend is not husband.
Okay.
If you were with him for 5 years, how come you weren't married?
He didn't propose to me.
That should have given you a clue. That should have been a clue in year 2, not year 5. Okay. The fact that he wasn't committing to you and still looking around to see what else was out there should have been evident to you. The fact that you were with him, committed to him, but he wasn't committed enough to propose, right?
You're right.
Good. Okay. She owes you $250 because I don't believe she gave you $250. So I'm deducting the $250 from the $29.54, which leaves $2,704, if my math is correct.
You got it.
Thank you very much, judgment for the plaintiff.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He was a dog anyway, so, you know, a dog is a dog. If he cheats, he cheats. He's always going to do it.
I caught her in bed with him. They were both together in bed giving him.
When there's something as fine as me in front of him, that it's a problem.
I think she came on to him because she's like that. She flaunts herself around town like that.
She was drunk. She told me she's coming home at 12 o'clock from work. She wasn't working until 12.
She was my best friend for 9 years, but the tramp isn't anymore.
She was out at the club, and I know she was out at the club because we party all night when we do party.
Don't trust your best friend around your man.
It's a sad thing to say. You know, they claim they're your friend, but they'll wreck your car in the end, so you better watch.
And now the next case.
All party in the matter of Staves versus Lee. Step forward, please.
24-year-old music manager Shamika Staves is suing recording artist Aqua Lee for breach of contract and studio costs. Aqua says her contract is with Shamika's husband.
Miss Staves, your husband signed Miss Lee to a contract, according to the complaint that I read, and that contract was for her to sing for his new record label, and she was his first talent, and also to act as manager. And then he was shipped out to Iraq.
Yes,
he was in the reserves. I assume he was in the reserves.
No, he was active duty all along.
And according to you, you spent a lot of money to do things, get orchestrations, et cetera, for her, and she refused to cooperate with you. And Miss Lee says she didn't sign on with you. She signed on with your husband. When did you sign this contract?
February the 7th.
May I see it, please? So is what you're telling me that your husband was in active duty in February of 2004, is that right?
That's correct.
So he was doing this sort of on the side?
That's correct. And as far as me just taking over, Your Honor?
Just 1 second. Okay, well, you cannot enforce the management agreement because that was not a contract that you entered into.
My husband left me power of attorney.
I don't care whether he left you power of attorney. I don't care what he left you. That was a personal contract entered into between the two of them. Just as Miss Staves, she couldn't get somebody, this nice lady sitting over here in the audience, right here, and say, well, I'm going to substitute her as a singer for my management contract.
Okay, I
right?
understand.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a personal relationship. All right, so tell me, what terms did she not perform?
Well, she agreed to allow me to conduct the business for her.
How did
my
you do
husband's
that?
absence. They did that over the phone. My
Who's
husband
they?
called her, my husband and Aqua, they communicated with each other.
That's hearsay.
Well then, Aqua...
That's hearsay. You understand that that's hearsay?
Yes, I understand
You can't
that.
tell me what your husband and she discussed over the phone.
Well then, they gave the phone. I've also had conversations with Aqua prior to my husband leaving.
Okay.
That it was acceptable to her that I would step in his place. In fact, when Aqua got out of school, she was going to come stay in my house for the summer so that I would be able to continue to conduct business and make appointments for her.
Ms. Daves, what did you do? What money did you spend?
Total $2,000.
I know. For what?
Production, advertising, travel, studio time.
Okay, when did you start to have difficulty with her?
After we had a situation to where she was supposed to sing for a recording artist over the phone. She didn't get to sing over the phone to him, and I was rude to Aqua. We had some personal differences, and ever since then, she stopped calling me.
Okay, well, you know, is that, so far that's correct? She was rude to you? You stopped cooperating?
She got an attitude with me, and it hurt my feelings, and I felt like I didn't want to work with her because of that.
All right, I don't have to take any more time with this case because I've already explained to you that the management agreement is something that you cannot take over, even if you have your husband's power of attorney.
But since
your
as a
recording,
record company,
listen to me, your recording contract specifically provides that any dispute pursuant to this contract, you've read the contract?
Yes, ma'am.
What does it say?
That it needs to be discussed in arbitration.
That is correct. You cannot take it to court. In the event of a dispute between the company and the artist, such disputes shall, not may, but shall, which means you must, shall be settled by binding arbitration in the city of New York. Did you, in fact, take this case to the American Arbitration Association?
In New York?
Anywhere.
I I didn't go to arbitration. I filed a claim in Texas.
Well, what did they tell you when you filed the claim in Texas?
It's still pending.
Well, they're going. You know what they're going to tell you? I'll give you a brief course in contracts. If you're seeking to enforce the terms of a contract, you can't enforce some and not others, right?
Right.
Your contract provides that your first step that you must take is to go before the American Arbitration Association in New York City. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Normally, two adults should be able to get past something like that.
The way she got attitude with me really hurt my feelings, and I just didn't feel comfortable working with her anymore.
She wants to base her uncooperation because I was rude. Well, then she's going to have a lot of surprises in the entertainment industry.
I mean, people get attitude with me all the time, but she really hurt my feelings.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Romero versus Clemens. Step forward, please.
Nurse Penny Romero is suing her ex-boyfriend's current wife, homemaker Connie Clemens, for selling a car belonging to her daughter.
Mrs. Romero, the defendant is your former husband's wife. Is that right?
It is his wife. He is not my ex-husband.
He is the father of your daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you were never married.
Correct.
This is his wife.
Yes.
And that's your daughter?
Yes, that's my daughter.
So this is your complaint. Where's the husband? You can stand up. Your complaint alleges that in 2001, you put down a down payment for a car for your daughter.
Yes.
And it was about $500. And at some point, she went to live with her father and his wife. When was that?
In 2002.
And she took the car with her.
Yes.
At the time she moved in with her father, she was how old?
17.
The car was sold or traded in, according to them, because your daughter got a new car. Did you get a new car?
Yes, I did.
While you were living with your father?
No, I got it this December. I was living on my own.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I have a few questions for you, so you can stand that next to your mother. You want the money back that you put into the car?
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be very fast. It's not going to be long. It's not very complicated. When you moved out of your mother's house, you took the car with you?
She wouldn't let me take it when I moved out, but then I called her and I said, this is the car I have. It's a pile of crap. I need that car back. And she said, okay, that's fine. She told me where it was, and Connie and my dad said we needed to pay off the money that was owed on it still. So they went in and paid off what was owed. They traded in my car, the car that I was driving at the time.
Just one second. So your mother first said that you couldn't have the car. She wouldn't let you take it with you. Is that right? Even though it had been a gift?
Yes.
Then you called and asked her whether or not you could please have it, and she said, well, I left it at somebody's garage or somebody's lot or whatever. And your father and his wife went in and paid off the rest of what was owed on the car.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
How much was that?
Oh, I don't know what they paid.
How much
in
was
cash.
that?
We traded her old car for it that we bought her because her mom wouldn't let her use that car.
So when you moved in with your father, they bought you a used car to get around him, but it wasn't a good one. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
And then they traded that one in and paid off the one that your mother had bought for you.
Yes.
Now you had the use of a better car.
Yes.
Excuse me,
And
Your Honor.
Don't speak. Now, when you left your father's house, did you take the car with you?
Yeah.
And what happened to the car?
The heater broke in it, and it was winter, and the hood didn't latch, and the windows didn't seal, and the roof was falling off, and so I needed to get a new car.
And did you tell that to your father?
Yeah.
And what did you do? Did you trade it in?
No, I wasn't planning on doing anything with that car. That I was just going to buy this new car, and so I just left the car at their house.
And what did you do with the car?
We put it up for sale.
Okay. And how much did you sell it for?
$250.
Tell me your first name.
Susie.
Susie, you left the old car at their house.
Yeah.
What did you believe they were going to do with the car?
I didn't know anything. We were deciding if we were going to try and sell it and split the money. There was never anything decided.
Now, when they told you that they sold the car, had you known that they were...
I didn't know until right now that the car was even sold.
Okay, so the car is sold. Who did you sell the car to?
Just a family up in Grand Ron.
And what year car was this?
An 86.
So they got $250. Do you want the $250 back? It was your car.
It's not really important to me.
Right. I assumed not. You lived there and they sort of bought you one, traded in one to get the other one. Now, my question, Ms. Romero, what makes you think you're entitled to $1,100 from these people?
Because when we originally bought the car, I went with Susie, we picked it out, I put the down payment on it, I made payments on it until she got to work. The agreement was we tried to get her a new car financed, we were going to sell the old car and split it, or either we were going to fix it for my 16-year-old son to drive.
You're not entitled to your money back. You made your daughter a gift. She could do whatever she wanted with the car. There's no strings attached to a gift. You bought your daughter a car. You bought it for her in 2001. That's 3 years ago. She's been through 2 cars since. I mean, get a life. Your case is dismissed.
I have a life.
Thank you.
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
I had a feeling it would go like this because it was a gift for...
I think the ruling was correct.
I don't care either way. I have a car, and that's all that I was looking for, was having a car that ran.
There's just always something that she brings us to court back and forth on.
This is how it's been forever.
We've been in a custody battle for over 3 years with 2 children.
My parents are usually doing something. I mean, we're usually in court over something.
Yeah, it's ongoing, and I wish it would stop.
This is it. This is it. We're done now.
It's fine. We're just going to keep on going.
Shatanya Bentley is suing her sister, Kelvis Bentley, for moving costs.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 2106, Bentley versus Bentley.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Miss Bentley, this is your sister.
Yes.
The case is relatively simple. Your mom passed away a couple of years ago. There was a house full of furniture that belonged to your mother. According to what I've read, and this is broad strokes, according to what I read, your sister, what's your first name?
Kelvis.
Put your mother's property in a storage unit.
Excuse me, it was already in storage.
Who had put it into storage?
My mom put it in storage. My mom was terminally ill, and she put it in storage 3 months before she passed away.
Is that correct?
Yes.
On what date did your mom pass?
November the 8th, 2018.
So it would have been in storage since August of 2018.
Correct.
From August till November, who paid for the storage unit?
I have been paying it.
And how much is it every month?
Right now it's $209, but it was $182 in the beginning.
But about $200 a month, and it's been 3 years.
Yes, I've been paying that every month.
This is what your case is about. You say that you gave your sister $900 for the purpose of traveling, getting your mother's things out of storage so that you could all disperse your mother's property.
Yes, but the amount is incorrect.
What's the amount?
I gave her $800.
Okay, $800.
Yes.
In order to get your mother's furniture to where you live, so that you could separate the furniture and the family could take what they wanted or needed of the property, correct?
That's correct.
Good. Then COVID struck, your sister didn't use that money to travel, to hire truckers, to move the furniture, and you want that money back.
Yes, that's correct.
That's the whole case. Okay. Just for my own information, you do expect when that furniture arrives to be one of the beneficiaries of that furniture. That's what your sister says. She says that that's the plan once it all comes back.
That's not correct. I didn't want anything out of the storage but pictures.
Pictures?
Yeah.
Well, pictures of things.
Yes, that's it.
Pictures of what?
There's a picture of me and my mother. That's all I wanted.
Did you tell that to your sister?
Yes, I did.
Did she?
No.
How many sisters are there?
It's only 2 of us now. It was 4, 2 deceased.
Did your mother have any other property?
My mother has a whole 2-bedroom home in the storage. She has furniture, everything.
Other than furniture?
No. Clothes, pictures, yes, things like that, yes.
Is there any property in that storage unit that you want?
Well, I'm holding her stuff because it's sentimental. I mean, I can get it, I wouldn't mind having it, but it's really, she got a lot of sentimental stuff in there, so that's why I've been paying.
Furniture?
Yes, furniture, clothes.
Furniture?
Pictures, everything,
Okay.
Yes.
How far away is the storage unit from where you live?
It's in Charlotte, North Carolina.
How far away?
10-hour drive. We stay in Michigan, and the storage is in North Carolina, Charlotte.
Anybody that you know live there close to the storage unit?
My aunt and my cousin does.
And this picture that you want, do you know where it is?
It's in the photo album with the rest of the pictures.
And other than that one picture in a photo album, you don't want anything else, any of the other property?
No.
You two are the heirs, is that right?
We have a brother.
Does he have, as far as you know, any interest in any of your mother's property?
No. When my mom passed, it was me, my niece, and my older brother there at the time of death. And so he got everything he wanted out, and he gave me the key because I was the next to older one because she wasn't there. So he was like, so y'all do what y'all want to do with it. And so that's when I told her, I'll pay it until we go get it.
You said, I'll pay for the storage unit until we go and get it.
Yes.
Okay, now I'd like you to tell me about this money that she gave you. Do you remember when she gave you the $800?
She gave me the money, I want to say May of 2020.
And can you tell me what the conversation was when she gave you the money?
Here is some money to go towards going to get the things, you know. And so I told her, well, I'll find a way to go get it. I didn't never give her a designated time, but during that time, that was COVID, so no one was able to go. And so I was going to go this year because I just signed the papers to go and go get the stuff, but no one still was able to go. She never once said that this was money loaned to go get it.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she had designated it to go and get the property.
Yes.
And you didn't use it to go and get the property.
I used it towards the storage.
No.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No.
The answer is no.
No.
So that's what her complaint is, that it wasn't used for its intended purpose, which was to go rent a truck, movers, and bring the property to where you both live. Okay, and she did give you $800.
Yes.
Okay, and Miss Bentley, you're prepared to sign a document that indicates that the only property you want from storage is a photograph of you and your mother that's in a photo album.
Yes.
That you want nothing else, that everything else belongs to either your sister or any other heirs that have a legitimate claim on any of that property, but you want nothing else.
That's fine.
Reasonable?
Fine.
Perfect. I'm entering a judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $800 with the proviso that the plaintiff will, in fact, sign that document indicating she wants nothing but one photograph from the storage unit.
I gave her $150 back.
Did she give you $150 back?
She did give me $150 back.
You paid her back. So she goes, you're $650. Judgment for the plaintiff, $650. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
It was my mother's stuff. I just was trying to get the stuff. It was in storage for long enough.
We haven't talked in a whole year.
We're not close.
You know, all she wanted is a picture. I give her a picture.
At least I got what I wanted.
We still sisters. Still love her.
Those look like two nice sisters. And I think part of that problem is the intervention of COVID, which really turned everybody's life upside down.
Especially family units.
Family units, because I think that was the intention, that she was going to pay for it to all be brought up, use that money, and then they would go through the property and decide who wanted what and what would be disposed of. It's not an egregious case of misappropriation of funds.
All well-intentioned, I think.
Well-intentioned. I thought it was a sweet case.
Case 2113, Pickett versus Glick. All parties, please step forward.
William Pickett is suing his former friend, Clinton Gick, for unpaid car payments and vehicle damage.
Mr. Pickett, you and the defendant, according to what I've read, were friends. You knew each other.
Yes.
You had a car that you were interested in selling. The defendant was interested in purchasing the car. Your car was 10 or 11-year-old vehicle,
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
When had you purchased it?
I purchased it about a year or so prior.
So you only had the car for a year. You were not an original owner.
Yeah.
Did you pay cash?
I did.
How much did you pay for the car?
Roughly $10,000, $10,000.
No, I want to know. I mean, you came to court today, not a roughly. Today we know the numbers. We're not talking about something that happened 20 years ago, something that happened a year ago. You bought a car a year ago. You paid cash for it, according to you. I want to know how much you paid for it. That's easy. You should have those records.
$10,000.
Well, now you say 10, right?
Yep.
Now you say 10. So now I'm going to tell you to go outside and get me the bill of sale for the car.
I did not bring that.
Why?
I didn't think I needed it.
How am I supposed to ascertain what you paid for the car, sir?
I didn't think about that.
Should have thought about it. I thought about it right off the bat. You had the car for 1 year. And when did you sell it to the defendant?
3/18 of 22.
For how much?
$10,000.
Well, then you're a genius businessman, because unless this 10, 11-year-old car, Mr. Pickett, had something really unusual about it, most cars depreciate the moment you drive them out of a lot. You bought this car from a company, which means you paid more for it than if you purchased it through a private person. You understand that?
Yes.
Of course. So there was clearly a markup. Sarah, take a look at a 2012 Dodge Charger with 148,000 miles.
I got it. Between 7,500 and 10,000 for a private party sale.
Okay, so as I thought, the value of the car went down from when you bought it, but you sold it to him for $10,000 because he was making payments, I assume, because he was making payments. Did you have a written contract?
I did.
I'd like to take a look at it. Mr. Glick, how did you know each other, sir?
We
worked together. We'd known each other for about a year, I think, at the time the car was sold.
Okay, so the first thing was he traded in something of value, which was he gave you a car.
Correct.
What kind of car did he give you?
Honda minivan.
Did you have the title to that?
Yes, I did.
Did he turn over the title to you?
He did.
What did you do with the Honda minivan?
I sold it.
To whom?
Someone off of Facebook Marketplace.
Okay, when did you sell it?
A few weeks afterwards.
How much did you sell it for? How much did you say you sold it for?
$1,000, $1,200.
Let's get specific, Mr. Pickett.
$1,000.
I'm not exactly sure what he sold it for, but clearly acknowledges at least $1,000. So this is what the lawsuit is about, and I've read your contract. According to the contract that you have here, you listed the dates, the schedule of payments, and you marked off when he paid and when he didn't. But we're going to go through the dates, and your lawsuit seeks damages to the car, repo fees, the unpaid contract price of the car because you repossessed it and you want him to continue until he's finished paying for it, right? That's what you want.
Yes, ma'am.
And the defendant has a counterclaim. And his counterclaim, in effect, although he doesn't articulate it in legalese, the basis of his countersuit is that there was never any meaningful breach of the contract and that he tried to make his payments pursuant to the contract and that you repossessed the car without just cause, and he's counterclaiming for the money that he put into the car as equity. That's what your counterclaim is.
That's
correct? Okay. So far you put in $4,000. According to this, he paid you March of 2022, April. As a matter of fact, he made 2 payments.
Correct. Payment schedules for every 2 weeks.
6/17, he made a partial payment, but made that up on 7/1, so he was up to date. Then you say on the 15th of July, he missed a payment. Did you miss a payment the 15th of July?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Tell me why.
At that point, the plaintiff had already threatened to repossess the car several times before I'd ever missed a payment on the car.
Because you made a partial payment once in June.
Yeah, and also...
But then made it up again within 2 weeks.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you had already said to him, you missed payments, I'm going to repossess the car.
I informed, I didn't threaten to repossess it.
No.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you missed a payment on July 15th.
Yes, and I informed him when I missed the payment that the reason for missing it, he had just filed for bankruptcy, and with his bankruptcy and the threats to repossess the car, I had decided that I wanted to miss, as it states in the contract, that I could miss 2 consecutive payments before repossession. I wanted to talk to a lawyer and make sure that I wasn't going to be putting even more money into a car
that you weren't going to have equity in.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's why you missed July 15th.
Yes, that's
okay.
correct.
And it's the 29th of July, also missed.
Yes. So I attempted to give Mr. Pickett a $500 payment on the 29th. He refused to accept that payment, and I have that in text.
I'd like to see it.
Text messages.
I'd like to see it. Do you acknowledge that he attempted to give you a payment on the 29th?
Yeah, he attempted to make a partial payment.
He attempted to give you $500.
Correct.
And tell me why you didn't accept the $500. He missed the payment on the 15th.
I informed him on the 16th that I would not accept a late payment unless it's in conjunction with the current payment.
You can't change the contract, sir. You can't change a written contract. There was a loan on this car.
Yeah, there's a title loan on it.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. That adds a different wrinkle to this whole thing because you told me you paid cash for the car, so I assume there was not a problem.
William Pickett claims his former friend, Clinton Gick, owes for car payments and vehicle damage. Clinton is countersuing, claiming William sold the car under false pretenses.
Now, you had a written contract with him. If you're changing the terms, he has to agree to the terms in writing in the same force and manner of the original contract, which is this in writing signed by both parties. You have a contract here. The contract says he can't miss 2 consecutive payments. He wasn't missing 2 consecutive payments. He missed July 15th, and he tried to give you one on the 29th of July. If you refuse to accept it, he hasn't missed 2 payments. You refuse to accept the second one. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, well, I see the interchange, Mr. Pickett, and the interchange clearly says you're paying your $1,000 today or returning my car. He says, I'll be giving you my $500 payment that's due today. Then you changed the contract and you said, not acceptable. You're behind $500 and a late payment will only be acceptable with a current payment. Is there anything about that in your contract?
There's not.
Okay, so if it's not in your contract, it doesn't exist, and you had so far no reason to repossess the car. Did he try to make a payment to you in August?
I think one other time between the time I repossessed it.
Okay, well, you had no reason to repossess it so far unless he missed 2 consecutive payments or unless he failed to keep insurance. Did he fail to keep insurance?
I have never been given proof of insurance.
This doesn't require that you are given proof of insurance
or not.
This doesn't say you require proof. Did you have insurance on the car?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Through whom?
Erie Insurance Agency.
Okay. And you have no information to the contrary?
I don't.
Okay, fine. So at the time you repossessed the car so far, Mr. Pickett, you didn't have basis under your contract to repossess the car.
There was also other terms that I believed he had violated.
Well, let's hear them. So far, he didn't miss 2 consecutive payments. Had you filed for bankruptcy?
I had started filing for bankruptcy, yeah.
Is that completed?
Still hasn't been discharged yet. I think I have another month or so.
Was this the first time you filed for bankruptcy?
Yes,
buyer misses 2 or more consecutive payments. Buyer fails to maintain full coverage under insurance. Any significant damage to the vehicle that is not repaired in 30 days. Did you notify Mr. Glick of any damage to the car? Give him notice and say, pursuant to the contract, it has to be fixed in 30 days?
We had talked about it when he came to drop off one of his payments, and he said...
Well, give me a month.
It was...
A month and a year.
It was in June.
June of 2022. He came over to drop off a payment, and that would have either been on June 3rd or June 17th.
Correct.
Okay, and tell me about the conversation.
I said, hey, there's a dent in the front now. He said he'll get taken care of. At that point, I didn't really inspect the car. Because
well, I don't care what you didn't do.
Yeah.
I want to know what you did.
Yeah, I told him, it needs to be fixed. And he said he'll get taken care of.
Okay, and?
When I repossessed it, it was still there, as well as more damage.
Okay. Did he talk to you about the dent in the front?
I don't recall that conversation ever happening. There was text messages sent to me about damage to the car. The car had dents and dings all over it when I got the car. I mean, the front bumper even had significant damage to it.
You repossessed the car at the end of August. Where is the car now?
At my house.
What's it doing at your house?
I was just sitting there for the moment.
Well, what's your intention to do with the car?
Give it up in my bankruptcy or repair it and keep it and pay it off.
Who has the title?
The title loan company.
So there was a loan on this car?
Yeah, there's a title loan on it.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. That adds a different wrinkle to this whole thing. Because you told me you paid cash for the car, so I assume there was not a problem. When did you take out a title loan on the car?
I took out the title loan.
Month and year?
One of them was in December of 21.
Did you know that there was a title loan taken out on this car?
I knew that there was one. I didn't know that there were multiple. I don't know if, but yeah, I did know there was a title loan.
Did you know in what amount?
No, I was never.
Well, that's pretty dumb of you.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, because if you're buying something free and clear that he owes nothing on, that's one thing. How much was the title loan?
Roughly $6,000 is what was owed on it still at that point when he bought it.
How much did you pay off?
A few thousand by that point. It's super high interest.
Okie dokie. Mr. Pickett, your claim against the defendant is dismissed. I'm now entertaining his counterclaim. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You get stuck with this car. Now, problem is, you drove this car.
Yes.
Was it your primary source of driving the car?
Yes, it was.
Okay. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so, Mr. Glick, this was your primary vehicle. How much do you think it would cost you to rent a car per month? Per month. Give me a figure.
To rent a car?
Yeah.
Per month, I would say $900 a month, probably something like that. $900,000 a month, maybe.
Okay. Based upon what you told me, it's not so egregious because you had the use of the car for 10 months. I actually don't think that an 11-year-old car would cost that much to rent. $900 a month, considering that you also paid for your own insurance.
Correct.
And if
Correct.
you rented a car, that the insurance would, of necessity, come with a car. Sarah, could you look up for me best deals on leasing a Dodge Charger? I don't know what that is. Is that a truck?
It's a car.
Is there a site where you could look that up?
I'll see what I could find.
But the intention was that money was going to go towards, something that I would own.
Well, I understand that,
right.
but you had full use of his property for 10 months.
Sure.
You don't think it's fair for you not to pay for some of that use?
I would think the depreciation in the car for the mileage that I put on it would be more than fair. Absolutely.
Everything depends on how much you put down versus how much you pay monthly. So there's a wide
range. Give me the range. He didn't put anything.
$786 a month, $843 a month, but these are for brand new Dodge Chargers, not for 2012.
Oh.
So.
Okay. And according to you, the current low price on this car is $7,500 price.
For a private party.
For a private party, low price, $7,500.
Yes.
So you're going to resell this car. And the car is currently in working order. And the low price on that car is $7,500, right?
Yes.
And he's already paid you $5,000.
Yes.
In order to break even, if you sold that car, all you need is $2,500.
Correct.
So I think that it's more than fair to give you credit for the $2,500 from what you paid.
Okay.
You paid $5,000. Half of that seems to be a more than reasonable figure to have full use of his property, and he repossessed the car. I don't think he had any basis to repossess the car, which is why he dismissed his case. And you certainly don't want to get involved with bankruptcies and payments, so you don't want this car back, because getting this car back will be more trouble for you than anything else.
Exactly.
I absolutely understand that, because then you're dealing with his creditors and whatever. I'm not trusting that whole situation. In any event, I don't think that you paying $2,500 towards the rental of the car over a 10-month period is unreasonable, and then he's whole. Then if he wants to spend money to have the car spruced up before he sells it, well, maybe he can get $8,500 for it, and then he's whole. So now everybody's happy. Judgment on the counterclaim for $2,500. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This court is adjourned.
I'm very happy.
Need a car? I had a car.
I don't think it was an honest transaction on his part.
I'll keep buying and selling.
So yeah, I think he was just trying to get a quick payday.
So I just want to make sure I have this right. The defendant was paying the plaintiff $1,000 a month towards the vehicle that the plaintiff had a title loan out on, but instead of paying off the title loan so the defendant would have the car free and clear,
right,
he decided to keep the payments and not pay off the title
loan. Correct.
Huh.
Which means that even after he completed the payments, which he was halfway finished with, he could not have gotten clear title.
Yeah.
Because the title is with the loan company. And he's filed for bankruptcy, so you can't come against him.
Lucinda Noble is suing her sister, Tiffany Acuna, for rent and property damage.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 2109, Noble versus Acuna.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Noble, this is your sister.
Yes, ma'am.
Older or younger?
Younger.
Any other siblings?
Many.
How many?
I have 5 sisters and 4 brothers.
And you have kids. How many children do you have?
I have 3 daughters.
How old are they?
18, 15, and almost 12.
And you?
I have 3 children, and they are 10, 5, and 2.
There came a time when, that was in August of 2021, according to your complaint, that you were having some housing difficulties with your children.
No, that's not true.
Well, Miss Noble, what led you to believe that your sister was having some housing difficulty? Because you start your complaint by indicating that she was about to become homeless.
Her house that she was living in was being put up for sale.
So the house that you had been renting.
Correct.
For how long?
About 2 years. I'm not really sure. It was well over
being
a year.
sold.
Well, I didn't know that until I gave her my notice after I'd already previously asked my sister if we should move in.
So you approached her about you moving in with her?
Yes, correct.
And do you own your own home, Miss Noble?
I do.
Where you were living there alone with your 3 children?
Yes.
Okay, and how much rent were you paying?
$750.
Now, when you decided to move in with your sister, what rent was discussed?
Well, she had told me about $400 is what she wanted.
Okay, so she said the rent was $400 per month, and that was starting August 1st?
Right.
So this is what part of this case is about. Part of the case is about rent. You lived with your sister from August 1st, 2021 to a date in 2022 when you finally removed all of your property.
Kind of. I did not remove all of my property, but I removed what she allowed me to.
To remove on what date?
I'm going to say it was mid-May, but I'm not sure.
May of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So we have August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So between 9 and 10 months. For the 9 or 10 months that you were there, how many times did you pay her $400 in rent? She's going to have a list.
I have a list too of our.
And you have a list. So why don't you take a look at it and give me the exact number of months?
The time I paid her $400 was, I think, only one time, and there was other times I paid her different amounts. But our agreement was, because I bought all the groceries, we just kept track on this app, which has a list. I paid way over $400 in total.
Well,
so our agreement had changed.
Just a second.
Okay.
You have an app 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you spend on that app?
12,000 something is right in here on the list.
Take a look, because you're going to show it to me.
I paid total $10,411.
Okay, and she?
She total was $11,291.
And that was to cover groceries, food, gas money.
Her phone was under mine.
This is something that I'm going to have to simplify. There came a time when there were issues with regard to you not paying her $400 a month rent. And you discussed it with her, correct? And in what month was that?
April.
It was before April. It was before I had gone on vacation.
What month and year?
December of 2021.
So what I'm reading in December of 2021, you had a dispute about how much you were spending, how much you weren't spending, and that $400 was not being forthcoming just for rent. You see, I can understand that the two of you decided to split bills, everything other than the $400 in rent. You each have 3 children. You're 2 adults. Let's get to December. Was it the beginning or middle of December that you had this discussion about just pay $400 a month and we'll deal with it?
Maybe the middle.
Okay. So we have January, February, March, April, and you moved out in May.
Correct. I was kicked out illegally, yes.
In May.
Yep.
Left in May. So that's 5 months. It was suggested by your landlord that just give me $400 a month and we'll split groceries.
In April, I have the proof of the text.
Just a second. So we have January, February, March, and April. 4 months. Did you give her $400 a month for those 4 months?
Nope, it was never discussed before then. I have the proof that it was discussed in April.
I'd like to see it.
Thank you.
It was discussed in April again.
Okay, just a second. I just want to see the proof. Well, show me if you have proof of an earlier conversation.
I don't.
Believe that there was an earlier conversation. Let me see the one that occurred in April.
It was mainly the receipts.
I'm not getting involved with that at all. Right now, you had a place to live with your 3 children for much less than the $750 a month that you were paying at another residence.
Right. And I spent way more on groceries. I did all the groceries.
Whatever. Your children didn't eat more.
Right. And my children didn't live there the full time.
I don't care.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can I look on my phone? It might be faster. Is that okay if I show you the text?
I don't care where you show it to me. Just show it to me.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. So I apologize. Okay. Apologize. Sorry. On April 24th. So if you want, and then you can scroll down because she kind of keeps for a couple days.
Oh, that wasn't an agreement, madam. These were final acts of desperation to get you to pay $400 a month. Here.
That was the first time I'd heard, about her.
Oh, no. That wasn't the first time you heard about it.
Right.
Because the first line is $400 better be under my door.
Right.
So that's not the first time you heard about it.
Right.
That's an act of desperation. Okay, so you had this conversation with her in December, and she was there until May. And according to you, you only paid $400 once. That's $2,000. By the way, how are your children supported?
I work. Well, I work, yes.
Is that a full-time job or a part-time job?
It was part-time.
Well, you don't support yourself and your 3 children with a part-time job. Do you get any child support for them?
I did get child support for 2 of them, yes.
For 2 of them?
Mm-hmm.
How much child support do you receive?
$300.
$300 a what?
A month.
Do you get any other assistance?
Yes, I had food stamps.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have food stamps?
Yes.
How much a month?
For something. I'm not exactly sure.
And when you bought food for the household, you used the food stamps as well as your other money from your part-time job. And got it, $400. So far, you owe your sister $2,000. That's for back rent. Now, you want to go through the damages that you allege that your sister caused?
Yes. So I had 2 couches, and those went away.
What do you mean both went away? What does that mean?
She got rid of them.
While she was living there? Mm-hmm. And you knew about it? In what month?
It was when I came back from vacation. My things were gone.
I'm not following. You were supposed to be gone for 2 weeks, according to her.
No, I was gone for 3.5 weeks.
You were gone for almost a month. Mm-hmm. She was babysitting for your children.
They don't really need babysat. They're older.
Well, your 12-year-old can't live by herself without a mother for a month.
No.
Okay. And your 18-year-old does what?
She works at a hotel.
So she works during the day or at night?
She didn't at the time. She was at 17 at the time.
You're not going to leave a 17, a 14, and an 11-year-old alone for a month?
Of course not.
Okay. So they were home with your sister?
Yes.
Let's get back to the initial question. I forgot what my question was before I went off on this tangent. Couches.
The couches.
That's where we're at.
Yes.
So you went away for a month, and when you came back, couches were gone.
Couches, like the whole house had transformed into basically her house.
I don't care, basically her house. I want to know what was missing.
So the couches were missing.
Okay, which couches? Couches from where to where?
So the couch from the living room, it was a sectional, and the couch from the basement.
Living room and basement. What happened to those couches?
Oh, they were gone a long time before, and I can prove you a text of her saying that they were gone before I even moved in, actually in August. She knew, and her daughter and her boyfriend helped me load them up and take them to the dump. She, in fact, told me she was getting rid of a lot of old furniture she did not care about. I have pictures.
Just a second. What you have is proof that those 2 items were disposed of before she went away on vacation.
Way before I moved in.
Okay. Now, Miss Noble, your sister says that she has proof that those 2 couches were disposed of well before you went away on vacation. If she does, I'm not going to be happy with you. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Were those 2 couches gone before you went on vacation?
I can't recall, but I believe she wanted to make room for her furniture.
Just a second. Were those 2 couches gone before you went on vacation for a month?
I know the basement couch wasn't.
Okay. I think you're full of baloney.
She started giving my niece video games, movies, my food storage containers. She was just giving my things away.
Okay. I went to graduate school after I finished with high school for 9...
Lucinda Noble claims her sister, Tiffany Acuna, owes for rent and property damage. Tiffany is countersuing for an illegal lockout and filing a false CPS report.
Okay, let's go. Property taken without permission. What property did she take without your permission?
Okay, so
how far she owes you for rent?
The TV stand, she broke it and threw it under the trampoline.
What's next?
The weed trimmer. She took that. She started giving my niece my belongings while I was gone. She started giving my niece video games, movies, my food storage containers. She was just giving my things away.
Okay, she owes you for rent. I went to graduate school after I finished with high school for 9 years. I'm not dealing with Tupperware. So far, she owes you $2,000 for rent.
Okay, and then there was also the wall damage, the windows, the blinds,
just a second. What wall damage and where?
The wall damage is from the room that she was staying in and the room that her boys were staying in.
May I see the damage that you're referring to?
Here's the one more of that, and then here's the blinds, and this was damages from her cat.
Well, this I can't see at all. Okay, so that I can't see at all. And if you're talking about nail holes, I'm not interested in nail holes where there were pictures, cutting them up. I don't know what this is a picture of. Tell me.
That's where her cat clawed up the carpet to get into her room.
Did you replace the carpet?
Not yet.
Do you have an estimate for replacing or patching that carpet?
They don't make that carpet anymore.
Okay. I don't know that. How did these blinds get broken?
I'm not sure. Are those the ones that were in my bedroom or the kids' bedroom? I really don't know, to be honest. But I do feel like I remember them being broken, but I just don't remember if they were broken when I already moved in or not. I really don't know, ma'am. I mean, honestly, I knew they were broken. It's like I'm remembering, but the house, like I said, was not in a good condition when I moved in.
Okay. I'm not talking about the rest of the house.
My daughter is actually, Tiffany told her that she knew they were.
She doesn't remember. You tell me that these blinds were in good condition before she and her family moved in.
Yes.
She says she doesn't remember. I have to rely on what you say to me because that's not ordinary wear and tear.
No.
Do you have a bill for new blinds?
From Lowe's, I have the estimate of what it will cost to replace them.
Okay, I'd like to see it. You do have a cat?
Yes, I have one cat.
Okay.
She has multiple.
So we're talking about $47.98.
Times 2.
Okay. Anything else? Any other?
For 2 blinds.
I only see one.
No, those are 2 different windows.
Oh, times 2. You're right. Anything else?
I have to remove the junk that she left at my house.
I was not allowed at her house.
What else?
That's...
Okay. If you have to think that hard, then we're finished. We're moving over to the countersuit. Okay. Counterclaim is for an illegal lockout. Okay, let me run through this illegal lockout and dispose of it quickly. The illegal lockout that you're referring to happened when your sister, who shouldn't have, took the door off your bedroom.
Correct.
She says she took the door off your bedroom because you weren't paying close enough attention to your children.
Correct.
And I assume she's talking about the 2-year-old.
Correct.
And when she took the door off your bedroom, you called the police.
Right, yep. I called the police. I have the incident report.
Yes, you called the police, and the police came, and when the police came on, do we have the date?
26th
April. The police arrived, and they told her she couldn't lock the door, and you were let in.
Correct.
Okay, so not egregious enough for me to have to deal with 2 sisters fighting. But the other part of your claim is that your sister filed a false CPS report.
Right.
And first, how do you know a CPS report was called in?
Well, they called me.
Child Protective Services.
Right, they did call me. But first, I actually had the phone call from my sister, my witness, who is here right now, because she had pre-warned me because she had gotten the phone call from this sister saying, Lucy is going to call on you.
Okay. Do you want to step up?
Sure.
Tell me your name.
My name's Stephanie Aslett. I'm the older sister from these 2. Yeah.
When did you have a conversation with Miss Noble about the defendant's children?
The same night that the cops were called. Tiffany had called me because Lucy's daughter had crawled through the window and opened the door.
So you spoke to Lucinda?
Yes.
On April 26th?
Yes.
Did you call her or did she call you?
She had called me because she wanted to let me know that the cops had been...
Do you recall that conversation?
Yes, I do.
Okay, tell me about the conversation.
She called to let me know that she was letting me know that since I was the only one probably capable or in this position to take on a child if CPS was involved, because the 2-year-old would not be able to go to his father. He was in prison at the time. And I was like, why are you calling and telling me this? Tiffany's a good mom. What's going on? And she goes, no, she's not. I've already called CPS and forewarned them that this is happening. She needs to be taken care of.
What's happening?
Apparently there was lice on her daughter when she was at her father's house, and the 2-year-old, apparently he was running around with a wet diaper.
Who was taken to their father's house?
The daughter that had the lice was...
The daughter was the 5-year-old?
Yes. And
okay, not the 2-year-old.
Yeah. She supposedly had lice while she was at her dad's.
Went to her father's, and that was sometime in April. Is that correct?
Yes.
And got head lice.
Well, he had told me. I wasn't for sure, but I'd let my sister know just in case that she may have lice. Let's check the girls.
Okay. And your sister was home at the time?
Well, no, she was never home. Everything was over text message.
Just a second. Was that when she was away?
She was not staying at the house. She was not at the residence. She was staying at her boyfriend's house that was there.
Lucinda was staying at her boyfriend's house?
Yes.
Okay. And that's on the 26th?
Yes.
Is that after the police were called?
That was prior to. Supposedly the lice was prior to, and that's why she had called them prior to that night. And she was letting me know that she had called them and that I needed to be prepared to take on a 2-year-old.
What did you tell her?
I asked her why she would call them, what was going on, and I said, this is ridiculous. You know that this is ridiculous? And she goes, no, it's justified. And I said, I don't understand.
Did she tell you why?
Yeah, she tried to tell me that...
well, tell me exactly what she said to you. Why is this justified?
She made the comment that
so she called
Tiffany has
you,
not been there.
Okay, you had to ask her why.
My words to her were, how do you know this when you're never there?
And she said?
I just know.
And gave you no more specifics?
No.
Okay, you want to tell me about that conversation?
I never said I was calling CPS. I said someone will. I know the person who did. It wasn't me.
Okay, well...
But I knew it was going to be happening.
Okay, Stephanie, let's get clear, okay? When you spoke to Lucinda and she said to you, in effect, are you prepared to take on a 2-year-old? Did she tell you that someone was calling CPS?
No, she did not. She said that she would be the one calling and that she has already contacted them because of the situation at her home.
Okay. Now, assuming you and your sister lived alone together, whether you spent time with your boyfriend, I know you have older kids, but you were away. When you were away for that month, were you staying with your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And you left your kids alone, correct?
With my sister.
With your sister. Now, why would you feel comfortable about leaving your own children with your sister if you felt that she neglected her own children?
They didn't need the amount of care that a 2-year-old does.
Are you telling me that a 15-year-old doesn't need a lot of care and watching these days? Or a 12-year-old or an 11-year-old doesn't need a lot of watching and supervising? Is that what you're suggesting to me?
Not as much as a 2-year-old.
Well, one is a physical watching to make sure that it eats and drinks and is bathed periodically. The other two are far more difficult. You got to have eyes all over the place to watch a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old. Got to have your eyes on their computer. You've got to have your eyes on their iPad. You have to have your eyes on their schooling, on their homework, on their everything else. You take a month to go off with your boyfriend. That, to me, is not participating with your children, especially since you suggest that your sister, with whom you left your children, was neglecting her own children.
Your Honor, I would just like to say that I was reaching out to her a lot of the time, too, where I would get 1 week, there was nothing. She said, I'm sorry, I had no Wi-Fi. Her children were skipping school. They were not listening to me. They would not do their chores.
Do I need you to reinforce what I just said?
Right.
I don't need you to reinforce what I just said. You had had a history with methamphetamines. You refused to meet with caseworkers, according to the report you gave me.
I have other reports, too, if I may, please.
Lucinda Noble is accusing her sister, Tiffany Acuna, of refusing to pay for rent. Tiffany claims Lucinda wrongfully reported her to Child Protective Services.
Now, you have something you want to say?
Many things, actually.
Well, many things. I don't want many things. What I want, stand up. What I want to know is you're her daughter.
Yes.
Your first name?
Anna Noble.
Anna, what do you do?
I work front desk at a hotel.
Graduate from high school?
No.
Why?
I was pulled out and moved to Missouri.
Pulled out by whom? By your mother?
Yeah.
And when your mother pulled you out, how old were you?
17.
Had you been going to school before?
Yes.
In what jurisdiction?
It was an alternative school.
When you say an alternative school, what kind of an alternative school?
For troubled youth.
Tell me about your trouble. Was it behavior trouble?
It was many things. I was a very wild teenager.
Until when were you a wild teenager?
Until I sent her to live with her dad.
I didn't ask you any questions. So now you can sit down.
Okay.
I'm not going into anything else. Lucinda, so far you went away for a month with your boyfriend, leaving your 3 children, who you say don't need supervision. How long were you home before you took the door off her bedroom?
I got back from vacation in February, early February, and the door was removed in April for a few hours.
Okay. Do you have any proof other than this conversation that the plaintiff called CPS?
I believe it is proof. Just the thing that was reported is something she would only know. Would that be considered proof?
Well,
okay.
Let me hear what was reported.
It was reported that I would not treat my child with lice. That was what the CPS report was, and it was unsubstantiated, and I have that all proved.
Okay. When your 5-year-old went to her father, she went to visit with her father, and children do get head lice. It happens periodically. Lots of children who go to school, who interact with other children, come home and they get head lice. I've had a lot of children, a lot of grandchildren, and it happens. And you usually treat it. I assume that her father did not treat it. Is that right?
He did treat it. He told me immediately.
No. So he treated it. So how do you know that the head lice was the nature of the complaint?
That's what was on the report.
May I see it? Your children weren't removed, except for your boy.
My one son, and then that lady.
And then returned.
All 3.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 kids were taken.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. There you go, sir.
Okay. You had a prior history with Child Protective Services.
Which I was unaware.
That's either a yes or a no.
Yep, yes.
And during the course of those prior proceedings, which were relatively current Child Protective proceedings, because that was in 2021, you were clearly drug tested by the Department of Social Services or Child Protective Services.
In 2018 or 19. This was at my doctor's prior when I was, and they reported it that I had failed one of my
And at that time, well, you had an open case and you tested positive for serious drugs.
Right.
Very serious drugs. And this says that while under the influence of those drugs, you drove your children to the doctor's office while under the influence.
Right.
That's the report.
Right.
Okay. These reports all seem to indicate that they tried to see you, but you kept canceling appointments with them and were a no-show.
Well,
okay, that's what this report says. You gave me the report.
Right.
So let me understand this. After coming in and making an assessment, Child Protective Services determined to file a petition on behalf of your youngest child. Yes, they did.
Okay, yeah.
Well, after everything I read there, I think that was probably a good idea. I don't know what happened with that. I assume that the petition was ultimately dismissed if you have your children back with you.
Right
Do
away.
you have your children back with you?
Yeah, right away, as soon as I went to court that day.
That's okay. They determined, after they spoke to you, and irrespective of either her motivation or anybody acting on her behalf, or somebody that she knew, or her, called Child Protective Services. The question that I'm presented with, was there a basis for concern about your children?
No.
And based upon the reports that I've read here, and those are reports that you gave me, that those serious questions about what was going on with the young children in your house deserved a second look. You had had a history with methamphetamines. You had a serious weight loss. You refused to meet with caseworkers, according to the report you gave me.
I have other reports, too, if I may, please.
Thank you. I'm not finished.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Because if you've been in family court, as I was for 25 years, often incidents are called in of suspected child abuse and neglect. A caseworker goes out, takes a look, and says, I'll continue to watch it, but I don't have to file a case. It hasn't reached the level where I think that I should file a case and remove a child. In this case, Child Protective Services came and tried to do an investigation, which, according to the worker, you evaded. You missed appointments, you rescheduled, you didn't show up.
One time.
And then, not one time, they also had a prior history of you involving drugs, involving driving your children under the influence of drugs. Recent history. Didn't happen 20 years ago. If it happened 2019, this says 21. If it happened 2019 or 2020, that's still recent history. So whoever called, it was worth, according to this caseworker, they had sufficient information based upon what they saw and what they knew to remove the 2-year-old. So that part of your case is dismissed, which is the only part of your counterclaim that I was really entertaining. You owe your sister $2,096, $2,000 for rent and $48 for, I forget what it was, blinds. Thank you. We're done.
My property?
We're done.
I had drug tested every month during the time that this happened, and it was like an oopsie under my doctor's supervision.
I just helped her, and she takes advantage and takes advantage.
You don't call CPS on your sister when you're the one that took off to Africa for 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
And this whole thing wasn't about money. It just, I needed someone to tell her, look, you can't take advantage of people anymore.
She's still the outcast that everyone's upset with.
I'm not the outcast, though, but I'm definitely not helping her anymore.
So we've seen it a lot here, claims for unsubstantiated CPS reports being filed and people seeking damages for that. So I'm just wondering, do you think there was a basis? Is that why, obviously, you didn't rule in her favor on the claim of the false CPS report? So there must have been something in there that...
When people use Child Protective Services as a retaliation for other behavior, that's always abhorrent. But there are some situations where CPS may be called because someone knows that there is an abuse or neglect and has not done it until the other person irritates them. Well, that's not a false CPS report. Maybe motivated by something else, but that's not a false report. And so, in this case, the defendant had a history with CPS. current history with CPS that was relatively serious, well, then it was a good thing that CPS went.
Because that would be basis itself.
It's
for
basis
the claim.
itself. Yeah, basis itself.
That alone. And just because she was cleared at the end of the day and has her children back now doesn't mean that it was an unsubstantiated claim.
Oh, no. They're watching.
Yeah.
They're watching, and they should be watching. I don't think any of them are bargains. The 18-year-old daughter who was here, who was a troubled child, according to her, and never graduated from high school, although she's working, because her mother moved her around also a lot, was certainly an inadequate caretaker for the other two younger children. She goes off for a month with her boyfriend. It's amazing how some children just grow up by themselves. Sometimes it works out okay. I don't know, somehow I felt sorry for all of those kids, that they're not getting all the loving and nurturing that they...
So guys, हमारी पहली वीडियो हो रही है ये स्किप करेंगे नहीं ये लास्ट लीव सर्कल लेट्स गो हाँ मैंने 2 वीडियोस डाली सारे लोग एक ही जगह चुप हो जाओ और काम जाने दो सारे लोग क्या करे जा रहे बातें करे जा रहे हैं फालतू एक तो हमारा नेट स्लो है हम मुझे इसलिए वजह से मुझे नेट के करीब जाना पड़ा हम लोग पहुंच गए गाइस ओके सर यस ये हमारा स्टार्ट आज देखना मैं लास्ट टू लीव हूँगा मैं आऊँगा लास्ट टू लीव नहीं मैं एक सर्कल हाँ आ चुका है सर्कल मुझे लगता है बहुत आसान है क्योंकि बड़ा सर्कल है मैं सर्कल की मेरी जान बूझ ही जा रहा है ना मुझे नहीं पता चला मेरी हेल्थ कितनी है हाँ तो हेल्थ नहीं पता चलता मुझे ना गेम वालों ने हमारी हेल्थ ही छुपाई है नहीं कल मेरी दिख रही थी गाइस आप लोगों को पता है ना ये कहाँ से होता है तुम कमेंट कर दे ये क्या है अबे 1 क्यों वाले खा रहे हैं ठीक है रैंडम प्लेयर ओके प्रोगी को ये क्या मिली लेजर गन मुझे तो प्रोगी हैज गॉटन आगे एन एक्सप्लोसिव माइन इज स्पॉनिंग इन डोंट स्टेप अभी कुछ गिरा है आपके ऊपर नहीं मैं समझा कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रही मीटर्स कहाँ है ये ऊपर कैसे एक मिनट आवाज नहीं आई ये मारते हैं हट जा अब कुछ लोग मरे बस देखिए हाँ पता उससे आपकी हेल्थ क्यों नहीं दिख रही थी हाँ क्योंकि आपकी हेल्थ लो ही नहीं हुई थी मेरी हेल्थ कितनी है बताओ अरे रेड कितनी हटा अरे नहीं मेरी 1% है झूठा बोल अल्लाह नजर आ रही है 1% तो नहीं है ये जानबूझ के जा रहे नहीं थोड़ी और है फुल हो रही है हाँ वो कैसे होती है चल जब थोड़ी यार आपको अगर आपको पता नहीं अरहम कौन है जिसका यूजर नेम अरहम 119 है वही अरहम और उस अपनी भी आईडी बताओ ऐसे लोग आपको फ्रेंड बनाए मैं फ्रेंड क्यों बनूं ये लिखा हुआ है द वॉकिंग डेड